Oh boy, my first big boy video call. Oh boy. All right. Well, I don't know. People don't seem to like my jokes too much, so I guess I'll just cut to the point. You can hear me, right?
Ah, I can hear you. There you are.
All right. So I'd make some memes and some jokes, but I guess I'll just get to some of the brass tacks here. So I
Is that Mario? Is it Mario? Is the Luigi thing Mario?
Yeah, it was a reference to this whole Luigi I'm home meme from like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh, that's so old. Oh my god. Was
Yeah,
80s, early 80s, I want to say.
I think so. I mean, I remember that show. Comes down the stairs like Luigi, I'm home. I'm home, Luigi. I remember that.
Oh, that's before my time.
Well, hey. Well, okay. Well, that's fun and all, but I guess I need to get to brass tacks. So first things first. So when you said that that bad takes were just a thing for me, hardy horror. What was the motivation behind that?
Are we Wait, are you talking about the comment I left on a video of yours months ago?
Yeah, the video that you didn't respond, that the comment that you didn't respond to for like a month. Like what was that about?
Oh, well, YouTube doesn't show me notifications or replies, so if you left me a reply, I didn't.
Well, I mean, you replied to the other reply I did about the video
Well,
about
yeah,
you. I was under the
that's
impression that you were dodging it.
that's because I had to keep going back to the video to see if you replied.
Okay, but I mean, I don't know why you didn't check that other video to see I replied to that. I mean, I gave you a month to
Because
respond
I
to that.
forgot you existed. Because I forgot you existed. Honestly,
Well,
man,
I
I
mean, I
live a
know I'm
busy
a
life, and
small
I deal with
channel, and I know
dozens of
you
different
have.
people every day.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but it's still kind of a snide remark. So I'm generally curious,
Dude,
like,
stop,
why did you do
stop,
that?
stop, stop. You
Okay.
make snide remarks all the time.
All right. Now I'm
Calling
gonna
me
stop
out
you
for a
right
snide
there.
remark.
I'm gonna
Come
stop
on,
you
man.
right now there. Me making snide remarks all the time. First off, you need to like explain. Like you have to actually point out like what are you referencing when you say that, and also it doesn't excuse what you said. Like you're not telling me why you said that. I
Doesn't
have to.
excuse what I said. Doesn't excuse what I said because you made a bad take. The sexualization video, like you
Okay,
saw a
well,
dozen
why is it
different
a bad
critiques,
take?
like in
I'm
the comments.
genuinely curious.
Oh my god, for the what I don't remember what you said because it's been over a month, man, since I watched that like sexual character sexuality video. But like people said in the I remember one comment specifically saying about how you didn't edit it whatsoever. Like it was just a complete what do you call it? Train of thought.
A ramble, like a
Yeah,
off the cut rant. Like
I
that's
get
like
yeah,
all my
yeah,
videos are kind
exactly.
of like that.
That exactly. They could have done a bit of editing stuff like that. Like again, I don't remember the actual arguments of that video. It's been a long time, man.
All right. Well, I mean, look, I'm not asking you to watch the whole 4 hours and 30 minutes of that because that's a pretty long amount of time to ask people to be invested into something just for like an internet argument. But like, you don't remember like the general gist of that because the point I was trying to make in that video is that people don't seem like they generally care about character design making sense and that just making character designs like however you want. Like,
Are we
you have.
talking now? I got to interrupt you. Are you talking about making sense objectively or from your subjective perspective?
Well, I do mention character design, how character design expresses nonverbal communication about a character's personality and
That,
roles
that
in the story and so forth in the video. I do talk
so
about that. I reference
so
character.
are we talking about objectivity? Are we talking about objective facts? Are you trying to say this is the reality of the situation? This is correct? Are you saying, or are we just talking about your personal preference?
It's actually kind of objective, I would argue. Yeah, I would say it's objective because because like, character shapes and different types of, facial expressions do elicit emotional type of to different types of emotional responses from audiences. And that's what I was trying to convey in that video because what Ms. Zizi said in her video, and I didn't make a lot of snide remarks about her in that video. It's not like I was insulting her in the video. But what I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make is that just sexualizing characters because like I just want to, that doesn't help communicate anything narratively about the character because it's not relevant to that character's story. And I mentioned examples, and I bring up Kill la Kill. I also mentioned that Ryoko is technically a minor because she's 17, so make of that what you will. But
I
you're fighting with swords, right? So like, the Kill la Kill characters are fighting with swords and stuff, but their midsections
I
are
don't
exposed. And
watch anime. I don't watch anime, so I don't like Kill a Kill. What's Kill a
you legit don't watch anime because
I no, I hate anime.
you act so the video you said about why you don't like anime storytelling is actually legit. You legit don't like anime.
Yes.
Well, I guess we can at least agree on that. Anime is kind of garbo. I don't really watch anime anymore either because I got sick and tired of the way they tell stories. But it's like holy fucking shit. All right, but yeah. So on Kill la Kill, you legit don't know about Kill la Kill. They had a video game and everything. You legit don't know about that.
Give me a description. What one of the characters look like?
It's the girl who has like the color scheme of Shadow the Hedgehog with the big red scissor sword, and like her shirt's alive, and she'll turn into like this BDSM looking outfit, and like turn to a jet and stuff, and she'll fight her half sisters, Satsuki or whatever, who does like the same thing. She's dressed all in white, and they have sword fights, and Mako's there, and all this other kind of stuff takes place in this big exaggerated school setting.
Wait, do they have like skirts and like overalls or something
Yeah,
like
kind
that
of like
cover
the
their?
skirts and the overalls thing. Yeah, like
Ah,
that.
okay, yeah, okay. Then I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like those character designs, those character designs don't really make sense narratively, and like there was no attempt in Miss Zizi's video to explain
But wait,
that.
but what about a fantasy world? What about in a fantasy world? Then it can look whatever it wants. It's not bound by the rules of our
Look,
reality. It's
it
a fantasy.
doesn't have to look like a certain way, but it would help the immersion of the story if it made sense. And I do talk about Ivy a little bit. I mean, I didn't like go into full detail about it, but since we're talking about it, I can like bring it up a little bit because
Who's Ivy? Who's Ivy?
From Soul Calibur, the Soul Calibur series.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because I'm actually a big Soul Calibur fan, so I actually know the story of Soul Calibur, and Ivy's actually one of my favorite characters. So Ivy's like this alchemist and stuff. She made her whip sword and stuff, which is a factoid a lot of people kind of don't know about. Like they make that that she's like technically the Soul Calibur equivalent to like a scientist in their universe, right? But none of her story really explains why she dresses the way that she does in the games, right? The default outfit. And I know in like the first Soul Calibur, or I think it was like Soul Calibur 2, like the two-player outfit's like this really butch design where she's just covered up in like a suit and looks like a dude. So you could argue it's like, well, that's the exact opposite of the player one costume. But I'd argue that the third player costume with like the kind of the flower patterns, the more red orange kind of pattern on the dress, that correlates more with a character named Ivy Valentine than just looking like a stripper with a pirate skull arm thing that
Wait,
that
so
doesn't
people
really
have
make
to look like
sense.
their name? People have to look like their name.
No, no, hold
They're
on. I didn't
required to look.
say that. I
Okay.
said that made more sense as a design for that character because when you name somebody Ivy Valentine and have them talk about thorns and shit and have like thorns and stuff in their design and they have a whip sword and they're playing it around themselves like a whip, but like their clothing doesn't represent that. That seems kind of off, right? From a character design perspective. Um, I guess in case you want to like
That's totally subjective. That's totally subjective, man. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Like when we're coming to aesthetics, that's totally subjective. There is no objective way to say, "Oh, this is a better design." Like we can talk about quality, we can talk about actual artistic quality, like how much detail is put into these designs. That is something we can totally argue about. When we're talking about actual aesthetic artistic design, not about quality, that's all up to the artist. They can make the character look however they want, and it's up to you, the viewer, like whether you like it or not, whether it tickles your fancy or whatnot. Like this, like it just seems like a really waste of time non-argument. Okay, you don't like the characters, like how you don't find the name doesn't match with the character design. Okay, well that's your problem. That's not the artist's problem.
well, that kind of borders into the it's my art style kind of territory because I see what you're saying as far as like, oh, the art style is this and that, like if that's what they wanted, but like if a
Oh,
character,
not necessarily art style. Like art style, we can do some critiquing. Like there are some basic fundamentals, like having the how do you put size, because there are things you can objectively get wrong, like with the certain art styles. Like I don't know all the fundamental terms,
anatomy,
or I
like
forget something.
I actually
Anatomy. That's
draw.
the word.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I
That is
draw
the
in
like
my
anatomy.
free time. So like this isn't something that I'm just talking about out of the side of my eye. I mean, you mentioned subjectivity, right? So I'm just gonna throw you
Yeah.
an ironic curveball, right? Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Subjectively?
No, I have not.
So subjectively is kind of like this opinion piece channel where he talks about a lot of like art design stuff and so forth. But he talks about sexualized character designs and what his problems are with those designs from the perspective of a professional character artist who actually works in the industry. And he does talk about Ivy. And, I cringe a little when people shit on Ivy because I like Ivy as a character, but I get why people shit on Ivy because her character design does not do her background story justice. But that's also why I complain about it, right? So, and just going back to my video about what I was saying in response to Miss Zizi is that she made this very aggressive sounding video about the Twitter comments and stuff, how people are being Puritans or whatever, trying to like say that if people just want to make stuff that looks cute, that's fine, and here's some characters from Danganronpa, two of them are age unknown, but that's like it's totally fine, but it's like if you can't tell me that the character is over 18, then how am I just gonna guess that they're over 18? Like that just comes off as a little
Isn't this a
disingenuous.
whole other subject? Isn't whole like age like discerning the age of a character? Isn't that a whole other topic outside of outfit?
Well, that is a different topic outside of outfits in and of itself. But when you're talking about sexualized character designs on characters that might be considered minors, because she was talking about how people were complaining about Danganronpa sexualization, like they're sexualizing characters in Danganronpa, and she was saying that they're being Puritans and just being assholes about it. But that was my point when I brought that up is that you can't even confirm the age of Junko, so it's like how do I know that
I don't know
character?
who.
Yeah.
Dude, you're talking about a bunch of stuff. Like I have Danganronpa. Is that the thing with the bear? Is
Yeah,
that the thing with
with
like the?
Monokuma.
Is that the name of the bear?
Yeah, Monokuma, the black and white bear, and there's all these other different Kumas. I
Oh,
haven't memorized
okay.
all their names, but there's Monokuma in there. But yeah,
Okay,
so
well, you're referring a bunch of stuff I have no knowledge in, man. I thought when you wanted to talk with me, you wanted to actually talk about the stuff that was relevant. You're mentioning a bunch of stuff like I have no knowledge of, or nor do I care
well,
about.
now
So
hold
I'm.
on. It's not that it's irrelevant, because see, these are all things that I talk about in the video. And like I said, I don't expect you, and I'm not going to force you to watch 4 hours and 30 minutes of rambling. But if you're going to tell me that my video was a bad take, it would help
One
if
month.
you
If you had come to me 1 month ago, I could have
Well, I
in the
didn't
moment
know
when
that
I
you
had watched the thing. I
even
could have told
expected me to do that. Like, am I really gonna
I
like go?
didn't expect you to do anything. I didn't expect you to do anything. Please don't project. I didn't expect you to do anything. You are your own human being with your own free will. I just you saw I just look. How'd it go again? Like from your video, you said you left a comment on my video. Then my mods showed me your comment. And then I went over to your channel. And then I saw like one of your videos that you made. I saw the mass amount of dicks like watched the bit. Watched your video for a if I'm remembering correctly, this is months ago, Mike. So I watched your
It's a
video,
month ago.
left
You
my
keep saying
comment.
months ago, but it's got to be like a month and maybe like a week or so ago. But it's not months ago. It's not like a million years ago, dude. It's last month.
Still don't remember. Barely
Well,
remember,
look,
man.
it doesn't matter if you don't remember it or not. Like, I'm not trying to accuse you of everything for like not remembering. So you said your mod showed you my comment, and you said that my bad takes are just a thing for me. So which means that not only was my video a bad take, but you think my comment on the B Dobbins video was also a bad take. And I'm
Oh,
curious.
yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right, well, Amy, do you mind if I shift gears to that real quick? Because I'm curious, and I just want to get that out of
Sure.
the way
What did
while
you
I have you
say?
here.
What did you say in your comment again? What did
All
you
right,
say in your comment?
let me dig it back up again. Real quick for you. My slow ass internet. If I bug out or anything, or if I disconnect, it's because I have shitty hotel Wi-Fi right now. So I'm trying to.
Well, you've been perfectly clear this whole call. You've been
Yeah, I
perfectly
mean,
clear.
sometimes it wants to work, and then other times it's like, fuck you. I'm just gonna tell you to eat shit, because that's what this it likes to do. Um, I think I still have it I should still have it on my channel, so I should just it'll be easier if I look it up there, because then I have to like shift through the comments and then log in and do all this other stuff. Well, I think I have to. Do I have to do that?
Can you
No.
give me a summary? Can you give me a summary of what you wrote?
Um, I can. I just want to try to give you a specific quote because I want to make sure that it's as honest and as accurate as possible. All right. 'Cause, yeah. I mean, look, I didn't call you just to shit on you, dude. If I did that, I would have came out the gate swinging. But I'm actually trying to have a serious conversation here. So let me just give me a second to filter through this right now. Wait, Vay, even I'm starting to wonder is that these comments are these videos are too long. It's like I gotta shuffle through all this other shit, you know. But I guess here we go. Here we go. I found it. All right. So I'm gonna read what I said verbatim, right? I honestly don't know what to say about this video. There's so much overreacting to like 10 seconds of a B Dobbins video that I had to double check if this was uploaded on April 1st of 2018. Also, all the negative things and even the political aspects of his videos regarding the games he covers is pretty much the cold hard truth about them. Part of the reason why the video game industry is declining in quality so badly is because so many people, many of which are in this comment section, act as apologists for all the garbage these companies throw at us. As for the whole B Dobbins complaints about X but still buys the game anyway statement, I would agree that if you don't like something, you should probably stop supporting it with your attention and money. But you can't really critique something you don't consume with any accuracy. The only part of this video I kind of understand is B Dobbins pushing his political views on social media like he's doing his best impersonation of Bob Chipman, but I've never actually seen any tweets or anything from him. I couldn't tell you how radical any of his stances were. I'm just accepting on some semblance of good faith that he's probably said something he probably shouldn't have said on social media. Some actual quotes from B. Dobbins would have strengthened this claim because I could easily just claim you're overreacting or lying, but again, I've been on the internet long enough to believe some of that is probably true without having to see mountains of tweets. Aside from that, I couldn't even tell you the point of this video, as if calling Chris Raygun an incel, possibly as a joke, was worth 20 minutes of piss taking. Also, calling someone unbearable with no explanation as to why, I kind of feel like B-Dumb's reaction made sense considering the context of what people were saying about him at the time. Now that I think about it, this could very well be the reason he left. The pointlessness of critiquing an industry whose consumers don't want to see improve because criticism is toxic or whatever dismissal is cool to use at the time. Not like my take on a 2-year-old video matters, but this video just stood out to me compared to everything else on this channel as oddly antagonistic and not particularly justified either. That's what I said.
Can you post a screenshot?
All right, I'll take a screenshot, I guess. Let's get to.
Do you have what's it called?
I
What's it
actually
called?
have the
It should be
screenshot
attached. It
already,
should be.
Joey, because I have it
It should
on
be.
my have it on my
Oh, but do you not have snipping tool? Like the desktop
I have
snipping tool?
snipping tool. It's just like let me just open up here. Just add files here. Give it a minute. It's in my folders and stuff. Because I use that in my video, so I can just send that to you. Yeah, it's in all this. All right, yeah, cool. Well, I can just worry about that later. Okay, so there's quite a few clips in here. I can find it though. It's in there. It's in there. There it is. File name. Does the file name matter? Yeah, no, that doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, like my post on the fucking channel. Like that's what it was. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right, yeah, I got it. I have it. There you go. There you go. Okay, I have it. I have it. Just gotta wait for it to upload if somebody wants to do that. I want to be slow and incompetent and just not load properly because I'm your shitty internet connections. I gotta. Wait, wait. It almost seems like the computer froze. Seems like to
Oh
me.
shit.
Oh no, wait.
Can you
Yeah,
move
there.
around
It's just.
Discord? Can you click on stuff?
Yeah, it's just being slow. It's like it's coming up. It's saying it's the upload picture is just taking a million years to show up. There we go. It's
Wait,
uploaded.
is it HD? Is it high quality?
I mean, it's just a no. It's just a snap tool. It's a snap tool.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
there we go. There I go. We got it.
yeah. That was that. I used that.
There we go.
That's the whole comment in its entirety.
Okay, also all the negative things, even the playlist regarding pretty much the cold hard truth about them. Nope, pure projection. Part of the reason the video game industry is declining and so badly, so many people, which are comment section apologists for garbage companies that fraud us. Nope, pure projection.
Well,
As
now
for
hold
the
on. You
whole
keep saying
Bowman's complaints,
projection.
still
Like there's different.
yes, pure projection.
Well, there's a difference between misinformation and projection. So, are you saying that we're ignorant, or you're saying that I'm ignorant, or are you saying that I'm projecting something? So, when you say I'm projecting, what do you mean by that?
Oh, basically what you said, misinformation, ignorance, yes. Also, like, really, really, dude, let's calm down on the ego a bit. Like, that's such a pure, absolute statement. This is the reason the video game industry is this way. Everything Dobbins said politically and game industry-wise is the truth. Like,
Well,
there's no room for nuance. There's no room for nuance. There's no room for context.
well, let me just double check. Did I outright say every single thing, or did I just say most of it? Because I could probably
Um,
use the generalities
part
here. Just
politi-
try not to
the
be.
Also, all the negative things and even the political aspects of his videos regarding games he covers is pretty much the cold hard truth about them.
Yeah, I did say all. Yeah, I stand by that. I mean, look. I mean, we can debate
So
about that. You can.
everything he has said, everything he says from the political side to the game industry is the cold hard everything.
Well, well, see, because now we're using we're using this whole everything kind of thing, right? Like I see what you're doing here, but
Oh,
what? Oh, what?
I'm sorry, semantics. I'm sorry about the semantics. So, what is it that Dobbins said that is the cold hard truth, political wise, industry wise?
Politicalized industry, right? Well, industry wise, it'll be the easiest thing for me to start off. As far as there was this video he did about DLC and basically talks about how the reason why people complain about DLC and microtransactions has more to do with how they're being sold to the consumer, not just the act of DLC and everything in and of themselves, right? So that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty good video. He talked about how one of the videos he talked about was how.
Wait, hold it. Where's the evidence, though?
Where's the evidence of that?
Yes, where's the evidence?
All right, let me double check. Let me see what videos we're looking at here because you can't ask for evidence and then not to provide evidence, so that seems fair. All right, let me just double check here. Let me see which video even was that. I also gotta double check the politics stuff because like I said in the comment, I don't like read his Twitter or anything, so I don't really know what he says about like Trump and stuff. When I said like politics, as far as like when he talks about politics in his videos about games, like that stuff generally it makes sense to me. Like let's see, so those were ridiculous. Stop hyping Destiny
So you
2.
believe so you believe like because Dobbins has stated this, so you think Trump voters are and that they voted for Trump out of
No,
ignorance and
you
stupidity.
kind of cut off a little there. You said Trump when you said Trump voters are it kind of blanked out. Could you please repeat that?
Yeah. Okay. So you believe that Dobbins is right that Trump supporters are ignorant and stupid.
Yeah, see, I've never actually heard him say that.
Ah.
So like that's why I mentioned like quotes would have helped your case because if you quoted him saying that, they'll be like, oh, where did he say that? I mean, obviously that's him saying it, or obviously that's him tweeting that. So I gotta make sure I figure out where he said that. But if he actually did say that, then that's different than just he's forcing his politics on into his videos, but you don't explain how. Like you don't actually mention that in the video you made about him.
Jeez, what did I even say? Like the video's 2 years old, man. I don't even remember what the fuck I said in that video. Like,
Well, I
but I do
mean,
remember. I do remember. I like the structure of the video. First, I went over. Like the opening bit where he talked about where he mentioned where he kind of showcased my video where he very sneakily cropped out the date. I remember that. He talked about some people. I some other content creators. He said some shit things
Beard
about them.
Grizzly's video was shown. A tweet from Chris Raygun was shown, and a tweet from some other guy that's not even fucking relevant. Because the thing about that video, because you only kind of respond to the first 10 seconds of the video, he doesn't actually talk about any of you guys in the video. He uses a lot of generalizing terms, and it's hard to really say with a straight face that it was specifically directed at anybody. You could say, well, he showed those videos, and in Beard Grizzly's video, his video is not only shown in the opening, but his name was also shown. That's how I figured out who he was, because I didn't actually learn about Beard Grizzly through you. I learned about that through the B Dobbins video. Then I watched his video. Then decided, okay, I kind of like his take on it. I can see his perspective on it, whatever, because he seemed the more kind of like not looking at it from a he seemed like he was more neutral, talking about how, oh, if you don't like this game, spend less time complaining about it. There's other stuff you can be doing. Like, don't try to ruin the experience for other people. And I kind of agree with that. Though I also agree with this other guy, Jasmine's whatever's video, where he kind of takes this hot take on him. He kind of shits on your.
Who? Hold it.
If you look up the title of if you look up negativity for views and click on Beard Grizzly's video, it should be like somewhere in the recommended or whatever, the response video to it. It was pretty easy to find. Let me see if I can send it to you. Negativity for views, because that's how I found it. And then there's the Beard Grizzly video, and then there was the response.
Yes, because I remember in one of your videos you mentioned this whole other channel when you brought up Beard Grizzly. I was like, who is he talking about?
I was talking about Jackson's Trails. Yeah, I mean, I meant what I said in my description. I didn't link any of the videos because I kind of don't know who's like even telling the truth at this point. So I figured I would just lay off on like picking any sides until like further notice. But like here, it's this video here. I talked about this video. I mean, yeah. So he does kind of go in on them. It's like 2 hours. I'm not telling you to watch the whole thing. I'm just showing it to you so you know what it is. So
Holy shit! It is 2 hours.
Yeah, if you want to watch it in your.
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Jackson Trails. Have I ever seen this guy before? Who is Jackson Trails? Games, movies, culture. He does Let's Plays. Well, this is a very small channel.
Well, I mean, it's bigger than me. It's got 4,000. At least he got to the 1,000. I have 100. Both of my channels together is only about 60. Wow. Wow.
Like Disney. He hearts all the comments that agree with him. Oof.
I mean, I don't know. I figured that was typical on this website. I don't even pay attention to that shit anymore. Wait, vey. Ugh. But so going back to the beat Alvis thing, because I don't want to just feel like, oh, okay, I got him now. I'm just gonna switch topics and I'll talk about it. So about everything he says politically and everything he says about the decline of the game. So he talks about how people react to DLC, and I do not remember in particular which video he talks about that, because I don't think he mentions that by name. Honestly, I want to double check. Like, does he mention that by name? Because if I have to like go through the videos to see which video he talks about it for just a little bit, it's gonna take forever, right? Because he'll make a video like right. Yes.
I just said I.
Oh, this all right. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so he talked about that. But that is a sentiment, obviously, that I agree with, because I do feel the same way, right, about how gaming DLC is sold to you. Because the thing about DLC in the games is like, I have to go through all your videos to know what all your stances are on DLC. But just explaining what my stance is on DLC is that while I'm not a fan of breaking up more and more games into downloadable content, which takes more and more ownership away from the player, I can understand like, them wanting to make updates to a game, right? I'm just updating the game or whatever, but they're like splitting up crucial parts of a game and hiding it behind like microtransactions and stuff. It's sold in such a cynical anti-consumer kind of way that what would be just expansions to an already complete finished game feels more like price gouging, and that's where you get games like Dead or Alive 6, which has some really bad DLC practices right now. Mortal Kombat 11, you can't even share like costumes and stuff between player 1 and player 2, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
Wait, how would you be able to share costumes? When have fighting games let you share costumes?
Well, when you unlock costumes in any other game before Mortal Kombat 11, it wasn't exclusive to player one, right? Like, oh, I unlocked this costume for Scorpion, but only in the player one slot, and I have to unlock it again for player two to even have the option to use it, even if player one does
Are we
not use it.
talking about online or LAN?
I think just period, dude. Like, I have to double. I don't think it matters. They're like, cause like, okay, the crypt was always
Well,
online. The
well,
story mode
wait,
was
wait.
always
So how do you
online.
wait? That doesn't make any sense. Like if like it's just so player two. We talk about player two online or player two LAN. There's a big difference.
Like, so when you say LAN, you're talking about offline or online? Because you keep saying LAN.
Couch co-op,
Couch
like
co-op.
playing
Yeah,
together, two
it was
controllers.
couch co-op. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, they did say that it was couch co-op. Yeah, now I remember because I don't play MK11 because I told people that game was going to be trash.
Wait,
But yeah, like, it was couch co-op.
how do you unlock the costumes twice? How do you unlock that?
I
You
don't know. I
say well
think you have to get into like
so
crypts
for
and loops
player
and shit.
two.
Yeah, you have to
But
do.
there's
I
no
guess.
dupe. I have Mortal Kombat 11. I play Mortal Kombat 11. There's no duplicate costume.
Oh, I mean, okay. If you have Mortal Kombat 11, then you can correct this for me. When you have, so do you have costumes in the game, right?
Yes, you have costumes.
Yeah, so you should be able to use your unlocked costumes between player one and player two, right? So like if you put you put like a controller in the player two
By
slot.
play so by player two. So if I'm fighting against like the AI or another player, if I plug in another controller in
Yeah,
my
you
PC.
plug in another controller and another player plays with you in couch co-op. What I heard is that you're not able to actually use the other costumes. So if
Wait,
you can
what
confirm
you
that
heard?
that's untrue for me, then I can gladly concede that because I'm not going to try to just force that point just to shit on NK11. But that's what I heard. I heard that you can't even do that. Have you tested that?
Okay, I'd have to launch. I have not tested that. I haven't had a reason to test that, but I could test.
You definitely should.
Are you willing to wait for me to boot up the game? Do you want to do this now?
I can do that, Al. I can wait.
All right.
Just gotta make sure my connection's still going. But I can wait.
Hold on a second. Da, da, da,
Okay,
da, da,
refreshing
da.
myself with some of my water here. There we go.
Oh, this is slow. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Come
games
on,
do
Steam.
that. Oh, you have it on Steam.
No,
Oh boy,
oh yeah, Steam's just taking a while to launch.
that's even worse, dude. I mean, is the PC port as bad as they say, or did it not turn out that
PC
bad?
port's great. PC port's great. Runs
I,
60 FPS. No,
I remember hearing a lot of negative shit about that PC port, man.
perhaps at launch, but certainly not now.
Well, I mean, at launch, I mean, I don't know, like at launch, like that's part of my problem. It's like you can say the game runs like doesn't run well at launch, but okay, they fixed it. But it's like why didn't it work at launch? Like they fixed cross tag battle, but cross tag battle at launch ran at 30 frames per second and needed a mod in order for it to play at full speed. So like yeah, we found a way around it at launch, but that Steam version of the game was still atrocious. And I don't know. I mean, you can make the argument that
Yeah,
well,
well,
just
I
play
didn't get
another.
it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it launch. Doesn't affect me. I do research before I buy games.
Well,
I
I
don't
do
just
research
buy games
before I
day one.
buy games too. I don't buy games on day one because I don't like respect most of the games that come out. That's why I don't even buy them. But kind of just ignore it all. But like on part of my problem is that like I get the feeling I also had like a similar conversation with somebody in the comment section of Bomb Fetty's video. I do want to cover that as well. But I get
Ah,
this
yes, the
feeling.
actual thing I expected us to talk about.
Well, yeah, I was going to talk about that, but I was going to talk about quite a few things, right? So I wanted to make sure I covered everything. I gotta eat all my vegetables before I start eating my meat. Yeah. So like, there's this notion that if a game is bad, just ignore it and move on to the next game. But that doesn't really make like the bad games go away. It just means that I'm ignoring it.
Who said that? Who says that makes the bad games go away? Who's making that argument?
Nobody said that. It's just that like the impression that I'm getting is that when a broken game comes out, I'm just not supposed to care. Like there's this comment from this guy, what was it, low pitch or whatever. I responded to his comment. You know, I was on fire, so I was like, I'm gonna come in just as hot as he did. I'm just gonna be hot, right? And then he
Okay,
talked
so I'm
about.
testing now. 1 second. I'm in
All right,
Mortal Kombat right now. I'm applying a costume.
all right. It
I'm
should
applying a
work
costume to one
if
of my characters.
I'm hoping
So
it
you
works, but it's
say
stupid.
Okay, so I'll just select another character. I can put other costumes on my characters. My custom costumes I can put on the other characters.
All right, so that either got patched out of the game or I don't know where people got that from, but that's what I heard. Like I didn't tell you that that was going to happen and that you're going to have to eat shit. So you can't say that I told you that that was just going to happen. But if you look it up, you should be able to find something about it. I guess I can just look that up. But yeah, but like I was saying, so he basically showed me a list of like AAA games, right? Like these AAA games are good. So you should like mention Control and Sekiro and all this other stuff. And I made this long post talking about how like that's kind of not what we're talking about. And he just said, you're crazy if I think you're gonna I'm gonna
Wait,
read all that.
wait,
Yeah.
wait. How is that not what you were talking about? How is the
Well,
mentioning
because the
the good
thing is
games that come out
that
not what?
like listing games, like just saying, well, there's good games. Like nobody said that there weren't any good games. It's that bad, broken games are like so much more frequent to the point that it's like,
Wait, well that's the list. That's a list right there. That's a list. Then you're talking
well,
about
no,
numbers. Then you're talking about numbers game.
yeah, but like that's my point, right? So like if you give me a list of 10 good games and I come back with a list of 11 bad games, like Dead or Alive 6, Mortal Kombat 11, and you can look at what people's reception was of that game if you don't
Ooh,
really
oh,
consider that part of it. Yes.
question. Are we talking about bad objectively or bad subjectively? Are we talking about games that are genuinely poor quality or games that you personally dislike?
All right, so when you got to define your terms when you talk about objectively good. So what would you consider a game to be objectively good? What standards
If
are we
we're
using?
talking about We're talking about quality. Does the game run? Does it function? Does it fulfill its purposes? Like, we can say a game like Fallout 76 is objectively bad. The game does not function properly. It does not fulfill its purposes. There are several like mechanics that actively counteract each other that don't that objectively don't mesh well. The numbers don't mix up. The number of bugs and glitches. We can talk about quality. We can also talk about a game like, for example, Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 is a game that is not like popular on the minute. There's a lot of people that don't like Resident Evil 6, and that's fine. But if we look at the game objectively, it's an objectively well-made game with a lot of qualities. It functions, it runs well, not a lot of bugs and glitches, etc., etc.
I mean, I guess if you want to put it like that, I guess that's fair, but it's also kind of just paving the way for a game to be as boring and uninspired and just
That's
by the numbers it can
subjective.
be.
Boring,
But yeah, by
uninspired,
saying it's
totally,
uninspired, but
totally person to person, totally person to person, totally subjective. There are people who find Angry Birds in Fortnite to be inspired.
well, now I
Sorry,
mean,
are
you
you
you say you say that
invalidating them?
like
Dude, does
Angry
their
Birds,
opinion not?
you say that like Angry Birds and Fortnite are objectively bad games. So I mean, that's kind
That's
of your
not what
point,
I
right?
said. That's not what I said.
No,
That's not
you
what I
said
said.
some
That's
people
not
find
what I said.
Angry Birds and Fortnite to be
Going to be
inspired.
inspired. Yes.
Yeah, but like that's saying that
A
like
game
there's
being a game being inspired or uninspired doesn't make a game good or bad. Now we're talking about is inspired the most important quality, the most important subjective personal quality to you when evaluating a game?
well, I mean, if you want to ask for my subjective personal opinion, I would like a game with some soul behind it, but you can't objectively
Well,
say
what is
that
soul? What is soul? What is soul? How do you quantify?
actually giving a fuck about the game and not just trying to squeeze every single nickel and
How
dime
do
you.
you quantify? How do you quantify?
How do you quantify it? Well, since we're talking about quantifying something that's subjective, I think it's only fair to use a subjective example. So, you got games like,
Wait,
Sonic.
if are we wait? So are we just arguing about personal opinion here?
Well, I
Is
mean,
that
you're
it? We're
kind
just
of
saying, oh, this
sliding
is what I
into
like, this is what I dislike.
semantics when I started talking about Mortal Kombat 11 because you said, are we
Well,
talking about objective?
when we use these words, man, yes, it is somewhat semantical. But when we're making broad general statements like you are making, that the video game industry is broken and it needs a restart and all this other shit,
Well,
that the
now I never
majority of it
said it
is
needed
bad.
a restart.
Yes, you did in your video, in your videos. Yes, you did in your 2 hour, like in your hour and a half long rant, and then your 30-minute rant. You absolutely did. Yes, you did. I can't give you a timestamp, unfortunately. We'd have to listen for the whole plaything. But you did said something of that remark that you needs to be teared down and restarted, of something of that nature. I may be paraphrasing, admittedly.
I'm pretty positive I said something similar to that in the second video that I made, and I stand by that statement completely because I don't consider games in their current state generally to be art. And I mean that.
Okay, and And again, is that coming just from your personal perspective? Is that just you? Is that just your opinion?
I said games were not art anymore, and I meant it. Yeah, I meant that
In
games were
your
not
opinion,
art.
you're not arguing that this is factual, that this is the way this is, that this is just the way you.
Well, because when I see a game that
It's
has,
a yes or no question. It is a yes or no question. Yes or no. Is
you know what,
this your
fuck it. Yeah,
personal
yeah.
feelings, or are you
I
arguing
think
that
it's a
this is the way
fact.
things?
I think that's a fact. I'm
Okay,
gonna
well
say it's a
you're
fact.
objectively wrong. You
All
are
right,
objectively
and
wrong,
I want you to
sir.
tell me why.
First off, the amount of games you would have to play to determine this, to make a broad general statement like you would have to play almost every single game that comes out in a year, and that's simply not possible. That's simply not possible. Then you'd have to argue, you would have to remove bias. You would have to remove bias and then review games, all these games objectively. You simply cannot do that. You want to remove all bias and to play all these games, it's an impossible task. So you can't make a giant generalizing overt statement like that and say this is factual. Because then you'd have to do the research, you'd have to put in the effort, you have to spend a shit ton of money. Hell, you'd have to probably put a team together to pull a feat like that. For you as an individual to say this entire industry that I do not work in is broken, that it's not
Well, now
art
hold on. You
anymore,
don't know
like
that.
that is a huge.
I actually do computer programming. Now I'm not in the gaming industry, but I do study computer science. I study part of the industry. I do indie game development on the side. I think I know a little bit about how this industry works.
Fair point. Fair. That is a fair interjection. That is a fair.
So I'm not just saying that as some ignorant person who just talks about games from the sidelines. I'm saying that
Ooh,
as
that was pretty.
somebody who
Okay,
pays.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be rude. That was pretty ignorant, man. You just said video games in their entirety they are not art anymore, and you said that is factual.
Yeah,
And
and
you're
I
saying
mean
that's
that.
not ignorant?
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
you
you're
mean that, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting for the explanation about why it's not true. You told me what I need to go, the
I
steps I need
just
to go through
told
to
you.
explain that.
I just told you why. Cause like the process to like determine that.
Yeah, I
Well,
get the
first, impossible
process to
task,
determine that,
and then
but what I'm trying to tell you
and
is that you have these games that are made under such sweatshop-like conditions where there's millions of dollars being pumped into the game with so much cynicism behind it, with games like fucking Dead Rising 4, fucking More Bigger 4, where they're just like, we gotta try to streamline the
so you
game to appeal to as
okay.
many people as
So you're
possible.
arguing.
That's not an artistic vision. It's
So
like they
you're
just
argu- So you're arguing. So you're arguing bad games exist, therefore everything is bad.
No, I'm arguing that games have become way too fucking corporate and it's killing the artistic
They have
integrity
been
of the games.
corporate since the 80s. They have been corporate since the 80s. There have always been bad games. There have always been rushed games. There have always
So
been
gaming
games
has
that
always
are,
been
as you would
shit?
say,
Like, is
pardon?
that what you're telling me? Because, like,
That's
you're not.
not what I said at all. You are arguing that things are different now than the way they were back then. I am arguing that they are.
Well,
There
games
is
are a
more
lot
notice.
bigger now than they were back then. It kind of reminds
Yes,
me of
true.
this story that my grandfather passed down to my mother about fucking Wendy's. Now, hold on, I am going somewhere about this. It's a funny story, but it's relevant to what I'm talking about. My grandfather would talk about how good the Wendy's burgers was when Wendy's first started, but then Wendy's got popular and it became a chain. And then past a certain point, he talked about how the burgers just didn't taste the same past a certain point. They streamlined the formula and everything, so like kind of just became meh, right? And that process kind of happens to any industry that gets big, and it makes sense, right? Or we have more people, we got to streamline food production, we got to streamline movie production. It's not just being made in someone's backyard anymore. And you have these big stellar productions with all this money behind it. So companies, often try to play it safe to compensate for the amount of money that's going into it. And gaming is no different. So from that perspective, you can't just look at that and say that the decline of gaming is something that's unique only to games and that games are just shit, right?
Who
I'll call them
said that?
shit, but that doesn't mean
Who
necessarily
said
that.
that? Who said that? Who's made that argument? I didn't say you made that argument. I never made that argument. Who's making that argument?
What argument in particular are you saying? Like I'm trying to set up. I'm setting up a point. Like what are you talking about?
Okay, sorry. Please continue. If you're
All
still
right,
setting up, please continue.
so like the point I'm trying to get at. So it's that so that's not unique to gaming in any sense, but that gaming is still going through that exact same process. So you get a lot more generic, just kind of samey, run of the mill, very samey games. They can come out rushed and buggy and so forth, and that's how you kind of get videos like the Bombfetti video where he says that the game is boring. And I did actually watch your video about Bombfetti, and I gotta say though, like
Oh,
I didn't think I actually didn't really enjoy that. It was way worse than I thought it was going to be. I don't understand why you were so hostile towards them. I don't understand if you were hostile towards me.
I thought you watched the vid. Wait, I thought you watched the video,
I
and
did
you don't
watch the
understand why I was
video.
hostile to him. Oh, then what? Then and you don't know why I was hostile to him.
No, you explain why you're hostile towards him. Like that's another
Then
thing
wait,
you
then
do in the
what's the
video. You
problem?
kind of take a lot of stuff that he says way too literally. Like when he keeps saying, "Remember that game," and you're like, that game isn't even old. People know about the Division. People know about that game. But like, it ever occur to you that
Yeah.
maybe that's just like a the way that he's framing up the argument? Because like he's obviously coming from a very subjective, personal standpoint
If that
in the video, right?
if that's the way he's framing up the argument, if that's the way he could have framed it a lot better, he could have re-recorded instead of saying
Well, I
remember that
mean,
over and over again.
if
He
you
could have
had
said
such a
something
big
different.
problem with him, like, did you invite him to a debate? Did you offer that to him?
I've tried. I've tried. He doesn't respond to messages. He doesn't respond to comments.
Have you ever talked to B. Dobbins directly through debate or through
Yes,
messages?
I tried. Never responded. Never responded.
Wow, wait, I guess I'm the outliner. I actually responded. I can take pride in knowing that I actually stepped up to the plate.
Oh no, you know I have several debates, man. I have several debates. I've made several videos saying, hey, if you want to debate me on this, if you disagree with what I say in the video, my Discord contact ID is in the description in the comment section, which is I'm assuming how you got my Discord.
Well, yeah, I saw it in the Bombfetti video because when I watched it, it's like,
There
oh,
you
that's
go.
how I contact them because I didn't even know
I
how to contact you originally. I had to figure out how to use Discord, make my
I
Discord. It's
say
like,
I
oh,
say I say it in my more argumentative, debative videos. I always say if you want to chat, right there in Discord. It's in the videos, it's in the description, it's in the comments.
mm, well. I don't know, but I couldn't speak for Bombfetti as far as why hasn't accepted that. It could be a multitude of reasons, but I don't.
Oh,
I
I
actually,
don't care. I don't care. He can live his own life. I don't care. It's up to him.
I mean, I didn't say that you cared. I'm just saying, but like,
I'm
I
sorry. I'm
actually
sorry.
have
I didn't.
like,
I was not saying that you said that. I was not saying that you said that. I'm sorry for the
all right,
confusion.
but yeah, but obviously I have a much harsher take than Bombfetti, and I do stand by that because I am really passionate about video games. Not so passionate that I want to just stay in my mother's uterus forever, because I do remember that part. You accuse him of having Peter Pan syndrome. That really felt
He
unnecessary.
absolutely does. He absolutely does. Getting an education and getting a job, dumb adult stuff, man.
Well,
Come,
how do you know how
come
old he is? I
on.
don't know
That's
how old he
indefensible.
is. Do you have any idea how old he is?
Any idea? I think he's mentioned in like an earlier video. He's in his 20s.
Well, I mean, people in their early 20s, God forbid their late teens, might have just the kind of standoffish, hand wavy opinion that, oh man, now I gotta deal with dumb adult stuff now. I gotta do this and that. Some people, the growing pains of
It
going.
is a childish, dangerous mentality.
Now, see, that's
Like
one thing I
the idea
definitely
that
want to
you
talk
can
about
just
is dangerous. So you say it's dangerous. Can you explain to me what you mean by
yes,
dangerous?
because it can put impressionable minds, young people who watch this video and like they get the opinion that it's okay that video games are the most important thing in the world, that you should be depressed over video games, that you should be this emotionally invested and attached to video games. There's more important things in life. The idea of dismissing education, dismissing employment, dismissing like family and friends and all these other things, and that the only way that you can have fun with friends is to play video games and whatnot. Like it's a dangerous mentality that sets people up to be introverts and antisocial and like just put unnecessary roadblocks in your life. It's dangerous because it can genuinely damage people's social. That mentality of, oh, video games are the most important thing in the world, education and employment is just dumb adults.
I didn't get that impression from the video at all, dude. It just sounded like he was growing out of games, and you can
No,
actually make a counter argument.
impression. I'm not impression. That's what he said. That's what he
Yeah, but
said.
like, so like, if you're gonna accuse him of being autistic, like you're being
Oh,
very.
I'm just being insulting. I'm just being playground banter. I even said in the video I
All
was
right,
going to
playground
bully you.
banter. I'll keep that in mind. Playground banter. So I mean, I'm not gonna engage into anything crazy right now. I'm just I don't know. But all right. So as far as that's concerned, I mean that could
No,
also
no,
be
no, no,
part
no,
of it.
no, not moving on. You what you take issue with me insulting him.
I mean, I don't particularly take issue with you insulting him because I don't care. I don't know him personally. It's not like I'm offended that you insulted him, but it does come off as kind of dickish. Like you didn't really need to do that. Like you didn't have to.
I didn't have to do it. I wanted to do it. I
Yeah, but
wanted to do it. I have no respect for that person. And like I used to be a piece of shit garbage person back in my teen years. And I only got out of it when people said, "Hey, you're a piece of shit."
well,
I got tough love. I learned from it. I grew. I got better.
well, define piece of shit person. Like either there's something you're not telling me, you're misconstruing yourself. I mean, I don't know what that
Oh, I've
means.
said this. I've said put this online. I used to be a liar, a thief, a con artist when I was a teen. I was a terrible garbage human being. But after like someone pointed out, "Hey, you're a terrible garbage human being." Wow, I really am. I got to turn my life around.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you turned your life around, dude. But I've never done anything like that. I don't know. Ugh, that's
Okay.
I mean, I guess I respect the fact that you have the balls to just say that. Most people will try to just hide that about themselves, but
Oh no,
um,
I used to be a piece of shit. I used to be a piece of shit. I've said this in several.
well, I mean, at least you're honest, but like they. So I want to try to make sure we stay on topic. So we're talking about bomb fetties. So I want to talk
Yes,
about that
I'm.
before
I'm
I get back to
hoping.
the.
But the okay, the bomb fetty thing. I'm hoping that through my harsh take, he does some soul searching and realizes, wow, I'm acting like a kid. I need to grow up. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm hoping he takes my harsh criticism to heart and goes, wow, I really do look like a fool in this video. I should change.
I mean, what I got from that video is that tricks are for kids. Video games are for kids. Video games are stupid. Video games are for children, and I shouldn't
No,
play them. That's the vibe that I got.
no.
I know that's not
Not
what you
at all.
said,
No,
but
they
that's
should not. They should not be the focus of your life. There's
yeah. I know
nothing
that's
wrong with having passion for it. People have passion for kids' cartoons, and there's nothing wrong with that. Live your life as long as you're not hurting anybody. But if your sole focus on life is video games, if you find that to be more important than education and employment, then yes, then there's a fucking problem.
I mean, I agree with that sentiment, but he never outright said it was more important than employment. He just,
That
ex
was heavily when you call getting a job and going to college dumb adult stuff, it's implied. It's implied, dude. Come on. Who says that? Who calls college and getting a job dumb adult
young
stuff? Come
kids who
on,
are
man.
just
Come
kicking
on.
back a little bit about
Work with
having
me
to
here.
grow up, but aren't necessarily against this. He didn't say he wasn't gonna do it. I mean,
I didn't say he said he wasn't going to do it, but that perspective
well, I
that
mean, like,
video games
I
are more
didn't.
important than those things. That is what he is implying, that video games are more important, that life used to be better back in the day, and now being an adult is worse.
What
Like,
I
oh,
got from that
Jesus.
video was that he's growing up. Things are changing. His friends, are doing their own thing. He has to do dumb adult stuff, right? And that video games are they no longer have that charm. They no longer have that spark anymore, right? That's the gist of what I got from it. And it's not necessarily that he wants to stay in the past and just play video games with his friends all day. It's just that he's kind of
Did you
like,
not watch the end? Did you not watch the end bit of his video? Do you not watch the last 5 minutes? Because he
I watched the
clearly stated
entire
that's what he
video.
wanted.
I watched the
So that's
entire video.
clearly what. Well, that's clearly what he wanted by the end.
Well,
That's clearly what he
I'll
wanted by
talk
the end.
about how I want this or that, but that doesn't mean that I literally want to just snap my fingers and go back in time. Wow, I'd really like it if Chelsea Turner was my
Yeah, that's
girlfriend, but
you.
that
That's
doesn't
you. That's
necessarily
you.
mean
That's
that. Just
you. That's you. But what about him? That's you. What
well, I
about him?
mean, you'd have to get into a debate with him and talk to him about it.
I know. So wait, but you just said that wasn't that wasn't where he was standing. That wasn't his standing. You just said that, oh, that wasn't his position. But you even admit you don't know his position. So why are you defending a position you don't even know?
I'm telling you how I interpreted the video compared to how you interpreted it. Like that's not what he said. Like he didn't
Wait,
outright say that.
wait. Are we talking about what he said or are we talking about
I'm
interpretations?
talking
Which
about
one?
what he says and what those things mean. So let me just double check, right? Because if you're gonna say that, I just want to make sure that I'm not looking like an idiot real quick. I actually legit am trying to like take the conversation seriously. So I just want to double check. Does he outright say,
Hmm?
"I just want to go back in time," or is it like heavily
He
implied?
says, I hope you realize back in the day that games back then were better. Before, you would just buy a game and play it. And now it's buy a game, worry about if it's good. The companies try and sell you microtransactions and DLC, et cetera, et cetera. I wish, something of the vein. Back then, everything was better. Back then, everything was better.
I think he used the
Games are
word
now
simple. He
complicated.
said games were, yeah, he said games now are just complicated. Things were so much simpler, kind of just reminiscing about the old times, man. Man, back when games were just simple, back when you just buy the game for like $50 and wasn't riddled with microtransactions. Like, I remember back
And
in the
those still
day, like that's how he's saying it, right? And like that.
it's implied he's saying that back in the day it was better. So obviously, if you're him, you'd want to go back in the day. But like it completely overlooks like the qualities and the improvements. And like again, games were complicated back then
Well,
too.
I mean, if you
Games are still
wanted to
complicated
make
now. They are
that
complicated in
point,
a
you
different
could
way.
have just made a video talking about the positive games and what games to look forward to. I got a new Space Channel 5 game.
I have made those videos. I've made those kinds of videos several times.
I mean, that's one of the videos that got me to subscribe to your channel in the first place. Before I
Awesome.
unsubscribed. Yeah, but but that's the thing, that video, the direct response to him wasn't that type of video. Why?
No, it was not. I clearly state at the end why.
Yeah, because you don't respect him, but like that, this kind of felt unnecessary.
And I don't respect him. And you watch the video, so what else?
Was there something else that I'm missing? Because you keep saying "and" like I skipped over
And
something.
because there was something, because and what else? I don't respect him. And what else? You say you watched the video, so what was the other reason
Was
I
it
said in
because
the
you're
video
talking
why I made it?
about being pernicious about Let me just double check this. I just got through watching it. Oy vey. Ugh. If I knew I had to, if I knew it was going to be homework, I would have taken notes. Let's get to the end here. Oy vey.
Okay, I said in the video, there's nothing wrong with liking video games. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about video games, but don't go do what Bombfetti's doing. Don't embrace Peter Pan syndrome. Like other life, real life is
Didn't
more
yeah,
important than
but
video.
we kind of just talked about that though. Like, so
Yeah,
if
that's what I said in the video. That is what I said in the
yeah,
video.
but
So
that
like you say, so that's the reason I made the video, because I believe he is sending a dangerous message, spreading a dangerous mentality, and it was video was positively received. No one was criticizing him. So I'm like, oh, someone's got to say something because
I
this
mean,
is a
I could
terrible
say the same
ideology.
thing about your
Video.
video. I mean, all because something is positively
What is
received.
what is the terrible ideology I presented in my video? What is so
Well,
terrible about the ideology in my?
I really don't like how you paint this negative picture about him that isn't really like it doesn't seem like is really there in the original video. Honestly, it kind of seems like you're taking a
Are
lot
we
of things.
talking about objectively? Are we talking about objectively or in your personal opinion?
Well, gee, I don't know. Is the stuff that you said about him objective, or is that just your opinion on his
Some bits,
video?
some parts are objective. Like the bit about the dumb adult stuff. That bit is absolutely factual in the way he presents himself, the way he
I mean,
constructs
look,
that
I
argument.
could be
I'm
a dick
also
and say,
factual in.
yeah, I could be a dick and
It's
say,
also
show me facts, but I'll take that. I'll take
you
that
saw
at face
the
value.
video. You saw the video.
Well,
I show his whole statement, the
yeah.
entire context of that statement. Like we analyze the words he says. We analyze the words he says,
Well,
how
like
he
that,
constructs
I
that
think
set.
that's where we're kind of not seeing eye to eye here, because I feel like you're over analyzing him when I watch the video. It's kind of like you're just digging into him really, really deep, and it's just kind of like,
Yes!
wow.
Yes, absolutely. Context is important. Showing evidence is important, so absolutely. So, but like the other thing. So you do know in the end, like that Bombfetti completely contradicts himself and exposes himself
By
as a
saying he's
hypocrite.
going to buy Overwatch 2.
Oh, precisely.
Now, I only partially agree with that, only because I don't really care about a lot of AAA games. I consider most of them to be garbage, so I just avoid it because I don't care. So I wasn't gonna get Overwatch 2 anyway. But I honestly feel like your take on Overwatch 2 is, it kind of just emphasizes my point about the state of this industry, because Overwatch, to my knowledge, like
How's
you
that?
said that
Wait,
because you say in the video
how's
that the game will have anti-consumer practices. How do you know that?
yes? Publisher Activision, developer Blizzard. They have a track record.
Yeah, but the first game didn't have
You
that
know, you know
problem,
this.
right?
You know this. You know this.
So
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it had that problem. The loot boxes
I mean, it
has a
had
track
loot
record
boxes. Like, so you pay $40 for the base game. You get all of the heroes
on
within the
PC, on
game.
PC, on PC, on PC. On console, you still had to pay the full 60.
Oh, for $60 for the game. All right. Well, you pay the $60 for the game on PS4, right? So let's say you get on PS4, you pay the
Mm.
$60. Now, if I remember correctly, you get all the heroes with every update, right? That's how it happened.
Yes,
Okay, so you get all the
yes,
heroes with every update, and there are loot boxes. You know, you kind of earn them in game by leveling up, but otherwise you buy loot boxes, and the loot boxes are a whole bunch of cosmetics that don't affect how the game actually plays. I mean that to me that's just not as bad as the implication that the game will just
dude.
like
All progression is locked behind loot boxes. You level up, you gain a loot box. You don't even earn in-game currency by just playing the game. The in-game currency is locked behind the loot boxes. And it's been confirmed, there have been studies and tests done, that paying for loot boxes, spending money, gives you a higher percentage chance to get the rarer loot, the rarer cosmetic loot. There's a YouTube video, I can't remember the bloody name of it, but there was a video done, a study done that shows that the paid for loot boxes give you better rates and all.
all right, well, I can believe that. I mean, companies need an incentive to make you pay for microtransactions. I mean, I wouldn't even complain if the
Oh,
game was just
absolutely. 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 That is 100% true.
so is the video about microtransactions on here just is that just another bait and switch, or did you actually say something about why we need to embrace greed? Because that what you just said sounds like it like you. So it sounds like you have a problem
Ex-
with loot boxes, my dude.
oh, so you're talking about my video from what? Oh shit. How was that, a year ago? Is that video a year ago? Fuck,
Probably from a year
that's a
ago.
long time ago. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. For that video, I am talking about how we need to like for the moral outrage on microtransactions to calm down because they're not going anywhere. They are a proven successful business practice. I don't like them. I wish they weren't there, but they are here to stay. Just be realistic. I'm calling for people to be realistic. Saying, go away, get rid of them, isn't going to do anything. Too many people buy them, too much money is made for them, they're not just going to get rid of them. That is my whole point. Stop the moral outrage. Just be realistic. Don't interact with them, or don't support the games that have them. That was my argument if you had actually watched them.
Well, I mean, look, dude. I mean, after that last interaction, and I felt like you're, ghosting me for a month. I wasn't feeling too hot, But all right, I mean, that saved me whatever, 20 minutes. I mean, that makes sense, right? If you're gonna just complain about it, it's not gonna make a difference. But
Precisely.
I
That
don't
that is
necessarily,
that
you know, yes.
I'm curious here. I'm curious now. So that you've brought up. Do you know any of my positions or arguments against the video game industry?
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I accepted the call for the debate, so I can get some
Wait,
clarification.
You made an hour and a half long video and then another half-hour long video where you argued against an imaginary me just looking at my video titles and assuming my opinions and positions.
I
Is that
mean,
correct?
I wouldn't say that it's imaginary. That's the type of vibe that you give off when you make videos, just kind of saying
Whoa,
that,
what's a vibe? What do you mean by vibe? What do you mean by vibe?
like
You just read
impressions,
the titles. You
like
didn't
you're giving me impressions that.
impressions on titles, just titles. So you're
Well,
literally
I
judging a
watched
book by
some
its
of the
cover.
videos too, dude. Like, I did
So,
respond to the B Dobbins, the first B Dobbins video that you did. I don't show myself responding to each individual part of the video, but I did watch the first one. Of course, there was a second one. I commented on that. It's like you kind of have a problem with people being critical about games, and then
I don't. That's why I have Discord. That's why I say come debate me.
well, I mean, isn't that why we're here right now to clarify that? Because if I were to just look at
You
that.
didn't come earlier. You didn't come earlier. You decided to go on a 2-hour long rant,
Well,
downright
I didn't
slander
even
me
know that was an
instead of
option,
actually.
dude. I didn't even know
Because
that was an option.
you didn't even make the effort to check. You
Well,
didn't
no,
even
well,
make an
who does that
offer.
though? Like, I don't know anybody on this website that just challenges people to Discord debates like that. That's
That's
like,
why I say it in the videos. That's why I say it in the videos. That's why I go to make an effort, because I want to have I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I've said that in several videos. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I don't want other people to be in an echo chamber. I don't just want people to leave an angry comment, a dislike, and walk away. No, let's have a discussion.
I mean, okay, but I mean, I don't know why you didn't offer to talk to me about those sexualized character designs. I don't know. It just kind of just seems like
I have to offer it to everybody.
you don't
I
have
have
to
to offer
offer
it
it
to
to
every single
everybody,
person
but
I
like
leave a
when I make
comment
a
on a video.
response video about it and you're like, well, why don't you come debate me? Why don't you debate me about it instead? Well, it's like, I mean,
That was someone you were responding to someone else. Why are you asking me like, "Hey, let's debate your response to someone else that has nothing to do with me?"
well, you mean with Bonfetti? Or are you talking about,
No, with
are you talking about Beat Alvin's?
the
Yeah.
sexualization. No, the sexualization thing.
Yeah, that. Well, I mean, cause if you're gonna tell me it's a bad take and like you not leave any kind of constructive
I did.
criticism about it,
I didn't even expect you to read it. I saw from your comments that you weren't responding to everybody, and you weren't certainly weren't accepting the criticism.
didn't I respond to literally every comment or almost every fucking comment on there? That's just what you said is just
Did
not
you?
true. Yes, I
Did you?
responded
Can
to
I see
pretty
a link?
much everybody. Yeah,
Everybody.
pretty sure. And I think the
Well,
only one.
you have more time in the day than me. You were able to respond to everybody.
Yeah, I went back and forth with some people and everything. Like, don't say I
Okay, well,
didn't respond with them.
my apologies. My apologies. I haven't seen that video in a month. I'm sorry. My apologies. If you have responded to it, if I can speak English, if you have responded to everybody, good for you. I take back that previous comment.
I responded to every single comment except Jordan's, which was just Merry Christmas because I know him personally and he kind of like, that, like whatever,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So like that,
Well,
there
good
was no
for
reason
you.
to respond
Good
to
for
that.
you. I retract my previous statement and apologize.
Yeah, I respond to all those comments. So,
All right. Again, I retract my previous statement and I apologize.
all right, well, yeah, I guess that addresses that. But yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know, this kind of came off as kind of unnecessarily aggressive, and I didn't particularly like that. And I kind of just don't let people talk shit about me like that. That's why I respond to people on this channel. That's why I do that in the first place, because it's like, you're not gonna just come on to my channel and just take a big shit and then act like, well, he's not gonna say anything about it, but the people do that on this channel a lot whenever I say anything that they don't particularly like, except for Mortal Kombat 11. That's the one video people liked for whatever reason. So I wasn't tolerating that from anybody, and I didn't care how big they were either. So that, that's where that comes from. That was my motivation behind it. That's the reason I did it, because I was getting the real bad juju vibes that you were not necessarily coming from a place of good faith. But since you offered to do the debate thing, I figured, all right, I get to talk to him personally, and we get to get it sorted out, get to actually know him as a person, and not just like do back and forth with fucking YouTube videos and shit, talking past each other.
I still don't get why you didn't do this earlier, man. Like you wasted
Because
two
I
hours.
didn't
No, more than
know that
two
was even
hours,
an
because you had to
option.
partially. Why? Why
Well,
didn't
yeah,
you
'cause
look into it? It was like you said you watched the Bombfetti video.
oh,
It's
I
the
watched it
pinned
after the
comment.
fact.
It's
I
the
watched it
it,
today.
what? Wait,
Yeah,
so you made your response, but you haven't. You didn't even watch my Bombfetti video.
well, I
Your
mentioned that
whole.
in the second half of like my second video, the 30-minute
I
video.
know
That,
you
yeah,
did,
I
and you don't
specifically
find
said
that
that.
silly. I know you did, but
Not
you don't
really,
find that
because that
silly. You
wasn't
don't
really my
find that a
point.
problem. That
My point, the
that's a
point of that
huge
video is that
point, man.
I feel like you're being like overly optimistic about games that you're trying to like. Okay, the negative stuff.
But
Don't worry.
how can you feel that way if you haven't watched my videos and don't know my opinions? By just reading titles, you can't assume someone's a position by just reading
Well, how
YouTube
many
titles, man.
videos do
That's
you
not
have
fair.
aside from the lewd ones? Like ignoring all the ones about voice actors and Subverse and all that other stuff. How many videos about gaming have you made, and how many of them I expected to watch before I actually say anything about it?
No. You don't have to watch every single one, but you made assumptions. You looked at a title and then assumed what the video was about, and you assumed my opinion and position.
And I based
Did you not
that
do?
off of how you reacted to B Dobbins and other video.
Is that fair? Is that in any way fair? Is that any way fair or reasonable, and would you want that done to you?
Well, I mean, I don't like being told that my video was shit and not being told why.
Deflection. Deflect. You're deflecting. Answer the question.
You know what? I actually think that was fair given the context. That's
What?
just my
What you just?
opinion, but I think it
That
was
what
fair
you just
given the
said, or
context. Yeah, what I
you
did.
think that?
Yeah, because like
What?
I'm not really
Oh my
obligated to do
god!
that. I'm not really obligated to do that. I mean, look,
So
you can say that
so
it's
you think it's
unfair.
you say it's totally alright to just judge books by their cover?
Well, I mean, look, you can say that I'm wrong, and I'm totally willing to accept that. I'm not going to say that I'm in the right here and I'm some kind of paragon of virtue or everything, but the particular context that we're talking about, you share my video, you don't respond to me for a month, but you
What
explained
do
that
you
it was
mean
because
shit
like
on your? What do you mean shit on your video? I just said, oh, I see your what say? Like,
yeah, and
oh,
then you
oh,
put the
sweet. So
little
you
laughing
that takes our
emoticon,
usual
so
thing.
it kind of came off as
Yeah,
mockery,
because
dude.
it was mockery.
Yeah, see, so like I'm supposed to just sit there and take it, so that's where the videos came from, and they're like, well, why
No,
didn't you?
no, you don't need to sit there and take it. But do you think like it's even comparable? I leave a mocking comment, and your response is for 2 hours to just look at my video titles and assume my position.
Well, I mean, you made a
Come
20-minute
on, man.
video about 10
Comparatively,
seconds of dialogue from
comparatively,
B Dobbins. Like,
comparatively. Come on, man.
comparatively, I don't
Comparative.
see a difference, dude. Because I mean, we're
You
talking.
don't see the massive fucking difference. I am not slandering you. I am not making this huge assumption of what your opinions
I don't.
are.
I mean, you did
I
kind
made
of
a
say
mod.
that bad takes are common for me based on one video and a comment, as opposed to my entire channel. Like, what about my take on Guilty Gear 2020? What about my take on Mortal Kombat 11? What about my take on Dead or Alive 6?
Mine is a comment with a few words. Yours is 2 hours of video, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
with evidence, and like the first half of the video isn't even about you. It's about Chris Raygun, dude. And the point that I was trying to make was that like you're getting a B Dobbins ass about calling Chris Raygun an incel,
No,
but
was not the argument of my video. I made that video like it was not about specifically Chris
I
Raygun.
know it
It
wasn't
was about how
specifically
he
about him.
dismisses
It was about
critics.
yeah, it was
It's
about how
how
he
he
specific
dismisses
critics.
it. How he dismisses and demonizes his critics.
Yeah, but his critics are just shitting on him, which was the point I was trying to make, and it just came off as just you shitting on him. So like,
What?
I'm
They're just nothing else. No one's applying constructive criticism. No one.
I mean, I showed you all those tweets and stuff, and I looked into it. I mean, I'm not saying there can't be any constructive criticism of B. Dobbins,
To be
but I'm
fair,
not seeing it.
to be fair, one guy, Knox, the YouTuber, he for some reason, and I still don't know why, deleted all his videos, and he had videos being critical of B. Dobbins that was more constructive criticism, but I don't know why he deleted his videos. I don't know why he deleted his whole library and he kind of disappeared off YouTube. So there was one piece of constructive criticism that unfortunately no longer exists. As for Chris Raygun, from what I understand, they have private DMs with one another going over B. Dobbins. So I don't know the specifics, but the point is, B. Dobbins, instead of reaching out to people saying, hey, you think I'm unbearable? Why is that? Let's talk about that. His response is, oh, you're an
Well, I mean, look, if I called you stupid, or as I would say it, a faggot, right? If I call you names and shit, are you really obligated to respond to that constructively? When someone calls you unbearable and all this other
I'm not
stuff,
obligated. I'm not obligated by any means, but it will be far more productive and I'll get more out of it and come to an understanding. Like I didn't need to accept this debate, an offer debate with you after the fucking 2 hours shit show you put up. Like I didn't need to do that, but I did anyway. I did anyway because you learn more, you grow more. You don't just surrounding yourself by people who like you isn't healthy. Just as surrounding yourself with people who hate you and genuinely degrade you isn't healthy either. There needs to be a balance for a human being to grow and learn and not just be a yes man or not be what's the word, subordinate. Oh, I'm terrible when I forget these kinds of words.
yes, man is good enough. Just don't suck up to people, which is kind of why I made those videos in the first place. I don't like people fucking with me. I don't like that.
And leaving a comment is leaving a mocking comment you think is fucking with you? You take such issue with that? Dude, I get far worse than whatever I left you.
I mean, look, that doesn't. I don't really care if you get far worse or anything like that. Like, I just
Fair.
don't
That's fair.
accept
You know
that.
what? That's fair. That is
Yeah.
fair. That is fair. That is fair. You're not supposed to care. That is.
So I mean, I want to say that that more or less explains my stance, but just I'll get back to the whole misrepresentation thing to elaborate more on that. But it's like I'm not, or I wasn't rather, I wasn't getting really too hot vibes from you, and that's why I go in about like the games keep coming out buggy and broken. You can't make excuses for that.
They are a minority. They are a minority. I'm not making excuses for them. They exist. Bad games exist. That doesn't mean the whole industry is.
I mean, so are we talking about only AAA games, or are we talking about the industry as a whole? Because if we're talking about the industry in its entirety, I would agree with you. But AAA gaming, I don't take that seriously.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I don't take big name games seriously. I don't. So
All right. That's how you think and feel. I can't change that, but the numbers say otherwise. Like the numbers say otherwise. If we're talking about objective qualities, the numbers say more quality, well-made AAA games come out every year than the bad ones. The bad ones just get far more pressed, and they should be ridiculed. They should be criticized, absolutely. But then to then say that these are the showrunners, these are the advocates, these are the poster boys for AAA, that's just disingenuous.
well, I mean, it is and it isn't because for starters, you need to like we got to make sure that we define our terms for AAA. Big budget, right? So like what games count as the big budget
Yes,
games and all that stuff. But there's also the issue with advertisement. One point that I would have.
advertisement.
Well, yeah, like the exposure. Like this game is coming out. Like everybody was psyched for Anthem, right? You know how everyone was psyched for Anthem, and that game came out and it flopped. But this channel, this Space Channel
I
5 game that
wouldn't
I like.
say
What? You wouldn't say what?
everybody was hype. Like there was some hype for Anthem, but I like. Would it be fair for me to say there was far more what's the word? Caution, far more caution and trepidation towards that.
Maybe, but sales charts kind of beg to differ, and I guess I should throw this in there before I forget. You can't really use sales as a judge of quality, dude. Like sales have absolutely nothing to do with
I never
quality.
said. I never ever said.
Well, I
Never said
mean,
that.
like in your video about Bombfetti, though, when you talk about how he's talking about the decline in games, so forth, you point to like people are talking about the division based on number of views on these videos. I don't
Yes,
really know.
yes.
I don't know how to quantify that. Like, is 50,000 high or low? Like, these are games with millions of dollars
Fifty
pumped into
thousand.
them. Like,
50,000 is obvious. That's 50,000. Of course, that's high.
yeah, but in YouTube language, a 70,000 channel sub channel is it's considered small, which is something I don't even believe. Right? I think my channel is small. I don't consider a channel like yours to be small, but we're using PewDiePie and Markiplier as like metrics for what we count as big and small. So when we talk about engagement, what was it? It was Days Gone that got like 50,000. It was the Division that thing had like maybe around 500,000 views on videos, and a lot of those videos you
Yeah,
showed in
yeah.
the picture were trailers. So trailers that doesn't really show like I guess you could say it shows interest, but it doesn't really show like player engagement. I'd also have to click on
I
those
never
videos.
said it shows play. I never showed it said it showed player engagement. I never said that.
Well, I mean, but when you say that people still talk about this game, people are still excited
Yes,
about these games.
that shows that people still talk about the game. That absolutely shows that people still talk about the games. What Bum said he said is no one talks about the games.
It's
That
just
is
general.
clearly
It's a
false. That's
generalization
clearly
though.
false.
Like when people say all of this, like like you were saying.
A false generalization. It's totally false. He didn't need to say that. If he doesn't like the division, that's fine.
Well,
But
that's
then to
kind of
lie and say that
semantics
it's not.
though, dude. Like. So you wait, you're accusing of
Yes.
lying, right? No, I want you to continue that point, just so I can fully understand. Like, so you're saying he's lying about the division, right?
Yes, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, it is still a lie. It is still an untruth. It is still not factual.
I mean, if you're judging it as like absolutely zero people, then yeah. But when most people say all, they actually mean most. When I say all of B Dub is political and takes on gaming is usually the cold hard truth. You could probably read that and interpret that as Oh, he probably means all the stuff he actually heard him say, and not every single fucking thing, because he probably doesn't know everything by
Well, but
heart.
even the
Yes.
but even the things he have said are false. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, you'd have to elaborate more on that because I'd have to like rewatch
Well,
some of the videos. You know, his videos are
we'd
long
have
as
to get
shit, right? So
yes,
we have to kind
yes,
of
we'd
like
have to get
dig
into
deep into
specifics and whatnot.
specific
Yeah.
quotes about what is and isn't there. So I don't know if it's worth like digging extra deep into that. But you know, I do agree with most of his takes and stuff. I'm pretty apolitical, so I don't really care about Trump or just the whole red versus blue stuff. I don't care about that. Um, but as far
Really,
as
because that's what he's all about. That's what he's all about. So that's why I'm surprised you surprised if you're apolitical and like he's a and he's a hardcore lefty. That then I'm surprised. I'm surprised you like you even say
well,
you
I mean,
agree
I
with his
do
stuff.
mention that in the video that he comes off as leaning towards the left in some way, and I'm not really aware of his politics. But you know, when I watch his video about how games like RuneScape are good for you and you know Call of Duty is bad for you, which is one of my personal favorite videos that he's made, you know, Trump isn't talked about in that video. I don't even think he makes a joke about Trump. I know in some of his Destiny videos he made a joke about Trump. Like it was the scene where it's like, yo, who do you vote for in the in the election? Donald Trump, and he just shoots him in the face in Destiny. So there's that, but I think I'd have to rewatch the one about Trump blaming video games for something like video game violence and stuff because that one obviously involves Trump directly. That's the only video I can cite offhand that even is even about Trump. Most of the videos are about Destiny 2 or Destiny in general, Call of Duty, Division, you know, a lot of shooter based games, you know, games that I don't play because I don't play, you know, shooter games. I don't play AAA shooters. So I play it to hear about his take, you know, the industry and how he can take those takes and interchange them with things like, you know, like we talked about how, you know, these games affect, you know, how can affect your brain and stuff, right? That like the what was it, the video about how like you
Oh,
know two
you mean
shooters
that
about.
video that was proven to be objectively false, and that article he was referencing from the Montreal Science study was like proven like, oh, this is completely false. This as actually doesn't make any sense.
Well,
This
has it
doesn't
been
cause like
proven
the brain
false? I
damage.
mean,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit up here and like
yes,
tell you
it'll
that it's.
it'll take me a while to find the link, but also I live in the area where this study takes place, and the Montreal like science division, like whatever the name is. Point is, don't trust science studies coming out of Montreal.
Well, I mean that's pretty shitty, but you know, it wouldn't be the first time a study didn't make sense. So what was it, the Proteus effect? I remember a lot of people were using that when the whole sexism in video game debate was a thing about how the Proteus effect would basically if you play a video game where you play as like sexy female characters, it's going to brainwash you into thinking that women are sexual objects, which doesn't even make any fucking sense. People are trying to use you know fucking
Oh, we are wholeheartedly in agreement here. That is absolute nonsense.
yeah, so
Absolute nonsense.
stuff like that.
Totally,
So
uh, totally removes individuality from the factor and different people. You know, like brain structures and whatnot.
yeah, like it doesn't even consider whether or not a person is mentally unstable or not. And I'll tell people
Exactly.
that, and they would
Exactly.
just be like, "Well, you just don't know how science works." And it's like, I don't know how science works because I bothered to question the hypothesis behind this dumbass study. Are you serious? Like, wow. But
There we go. That we are in full agreement.
yeah, so I can understand a study being not inherently true, you know.
And yes, and yet B. Dobbins chose to believe it 100%.
Well, I had no reason to believe it was false, but if you have a counter argument for that, I will gladly accept that, and then I guess I can retract that statement about everything being the
Well,
cold hard truth
but
because
here's the thing.
technically you
He
would
did,
be
but
wrong,
here
right?
in his video, it's coming back to me now.
Uh
His
huh.
video, he didn't even question the article. He didn't make any single questions. Like I said, some things may be true, maybe false. He like immediately assumed that this is the truth. He immediately assumed like this is the way things are. He didn't question whatsoever. He saw an article that he could use to bolster his narrative, that he could use to like create a narrative, and then he ran with it. He didn't think to question it. Didn't tell people to think for yourselves, do your own research. He just said, "This is it. This is how it is." Very arrogant. Very what's the word? I guess arrogant is the word. I guess arrogant. Very
Oh, you're kind of cutting up. I don't know if it's my shit connection. Let me just fix that.
shit.
No, wait, no,
No,
I
no,
hear you.
no.
There you go.
That's Discord.
Yeah,
That's
you're back.
Discord. Sorry, I
You're
don't
back.
know what you.
Yeah, but yeah, so you're saying that he used it to bolster a narrative. Now, I can believe that he's doing that to bolster a narrative, but at the same time, like the way that video ended, he basically says that the problem isn't necessarily that shooters, like you shouldn't play shooters. He says play a variety of games, like more platformers and stuff to increase your spatial awareness and stuff. So these games that run on autopilot don't damage your brain. Right? It was the point he was making that the games are being too dumbed down, and I agree with that statement mainly because I know a lot of stuff about how these games are designed as far as like the auto aiming. They do actually widen the hit scan on a lot of these games and so forth. So they do actually make it so that the games are easier for you to play. And some of that stuff, a lot of that stuff is actually talked about in V Dobbin's videos. And he talks about how he was getting kill streaks without really doing anything in Call of Duty and stuff like that. Now I could play those games. Games that I don't have any interest in to try to verify if everything he says is the truth. But when I'm looking at him playing the game while talking about it, I mean, I guess it's egg on my face for believing he was like arguing in good faith, right? But I don't really like what part of that is untrue. So when I say like like all what he says is the cold hard truth, I'm talking about that. Like he talks about the games being dumbed down, they are being dumbed down. Like if I were to make videos talking about how fighting games are being dumbed down because they are, right? Because they're pretty much dumbing down every other kind of game, right?
Nah,
What?
nah. Like every game, every fighting game's being done.
Well, I said every other type of game. I meant like genres. That's what I actually said. You kind of misheard me, but I mean, I wouldn't
Can
say
you? Oh,
every
sorry. What did you
fighting.
say? Can you
I
repeat
said
that? What
every.
did you
I
say?
said every other kind of game, like tons of different genres are being dumbed down. Like that seems to be like a pattern that goes in a lot of games. They want to force feed tutorials in the beginning of the game because nobody reads manuals anymore. It can be kind of tiring for people that grew up on like the Genesis and stuff. Not that be big or old fogey with my dusty Sega Genesis doesn't, that doesn't mean like we have to be everything back to the good old days, but it can be pretty tiring to just see like, here's another easy ass game. Even if the game is like good, I mean, I heard Control was like really good, but was also really easy. I mean, I still had
Oh, it's
interest in Control.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Wait, who's told you for Control was easy? What?
I mean, I read, watched some reviews. People said the game was like kind of on the easy side. I'm not just saying, oh, the game
Well,
is shit because of
if
that,
you're
right? I'm not
playing
saying that,
on
but
easy difficulty, I never said you said it was shit. I'm just saying, but like if you're playing Control on easy difficulty, sure, but there's multiple difficulty levels, and if you're playing the game on the highest difficulty, it's gonna kick your ass.
people were saying that it was kind of just on the easy side from on the highest difficulty, but it can also depend on who you're talking to. Like, I know a lot of people who think like certain games are difficult. A lot of my friends still have trouble with fighting games and stuff, and I just like, well, Dragon Ball Fighters, oh, I know how to play that game, right? So it really depends on who you're talking to, but. People said that game was kind of just easy, and I didn't just think that, oh, I'm not gonna buy it because it's easy, right? I didn't think that, but I'm just pointing that out that
I
a
didn't.
lot of single player games they're kind of being streamlined with that in mind because they know that to increase player engagement they
Examples,
have
examples, 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 examples. What games are doing that? What games are doing?
examples of games that are doing that. The when I say the Assassin's Creed game, because I know I have Assassin's Creed 3, I want to try. I want to try to stick to games that I actually play. All right, I'll talk about fighting games. That's what I know the most about. I have to actually look into like a lot of the AAA games and stuff, but definitely fighting games. So like the new Grand Blue Versus came out, the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus came out, and they had the audacity to add a block button to the game. So basically, they killed cross-ups in that game, and they did it to make it so that
Wait,
new players wouldn't
the
be.
audacity, the audacity. Like this is like this is offensive. Of adding a block.
Well, I mean, like, why are cross-ups even in the game if you're gonna kill it with a button that blocks all cross-ups? That defeats the purpose of even blocking the mix-up.
Oh, we're getting into fighting game terminology. Oh boy. Okay,
Well,
this is
what?
alien.
Yeah.
Please
See,
continue.
I like actually like I've actually have like documents and sheet on documents and shit like game design documents on fighting games. I wrote about fighting games and I've studied them and everything. So like I actually know like the ins and outs about how all those games functions and frame data and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of coming from that perspective. So yeah, so they did that to the game. They have these special input commands like easy inputs, even though they still have the basic inputs. I don't think there's any difference in cooldown either. They're trying to like take away command inputs for a lot of games, and it's really weird how they keep trying to de-emphasize that. Like, I'm all for trying to make games more accessible, but they're kind of just making the game easier to master. You know, like they're just like here's a game, you pick it up and you master in 5 minutes because it's just not as deep as an old ass game, right? Now, going back to what you said, like, oh,
Yeah.
they're not like casualizing all the games. So, like, if I were to bring up a counter argument in your favor, I would say that Marvel's Capcom Infinite was an example of a game that it simplified some things, but overall, it's a pretty like fast paced game. There's tons of crossups, tons of crazy stuff in the game. The gems are just crazy. The tag system's just crazy. Game's just off the chain. It's just insane, right? So like that's not a particularly casualized game, but we also keep getting a lot of games like cross tag battle where you give one button DPs to every character. We didn't used to have games where everybody had DP, so now mix ups kind of don't really matter because like okay, I'm gonna do an overhead mix up or I'm gonna jump in, but they can always just do an air unblockable DP because we got to make it so the game is easier to play, right? They keep trying to infuse auto combos in the game with varying amounts of success.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, but are a lot of these mechanics you're talking about, are these like, are some of these optional, or all of these like forced on the player? Like you have to interact with these. Like, is the game like you have to play this casually? Is there no option like, oh, I can play this casually, or I can get more vested in this and like have a more hardcore, challenging experience? Like, is there no option? Is there no border between these mechanics, or like, I'm just curious
Well,
because
that
this is
that's
this
the
whole.
thing. That's the thing, though, because there used to be a border, right? Because in Blaze Blue Central Fiction, that's a really technical game, and I like that game. That's a good game. And you had the technical playstyle, which was like the base playstyle, and then you had the stylish, which is kind of like where the auto combos and single button specials were, right? So they had those two modes separated, but they just said fuck it and made stylish mode like the default game mode in Blaze Blue Cross
Wait,
Tab
who's
Battle.
they?
Arc
Who's
System Works.
they're the developers?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
developing. Yeah, so they developed the game. So they just said, we're just gonna make that like the thing. So the whole game is like you get two attack buttons. I guess technically you get three because you have like the heavy button, but the heavy button is just your overhead and your sweep button, and you use it for like EX move. It's not like a heavy attack, like in the traditional sense, right? So to me, it only really has two buttons. So a lot of your physical attacks are attached to the square button, and you'll have another attack for your triangle button, or sometimes that'll just be a character's drive button from Blades Blue. So you went from like having four distinct buttons: a light attack, a heavy attack, or a medium attack, and a heavy attack, and your drive attack, to just the light attack, the heavy attack, which might just be the drive attack, an overhead slash sweep button, and the X button is for switching in and out of the game. And it's not that the game doesn't function. It's not that the game can't be played at some kind of competitive level, but like they simplified the controls to such a degree that combos don't feel as satisfying because anybody can just do them now. Like they keep
Ooh,
simplifying the
isn't
game.
something feel isn't something feeling satisfying subjective, person to person? Like I find reloading guns, I find reloading animations in shooter games satisfying. That doesn't mean they actually are satisfying.
Well,
I
no,
personally find them
that's.
satisfying.
I mean, I would argue there's some objectivity to that because that's a lot to do with animation, sound design, and just the overall expression of how a character reloads their animations. Why certain reload animations
Yeah, but
have
there's some
bigger
people. Yeah,
impact.
but like there, you could. But there's also people that don't give a shit, that couldn't like give less of a shit about a reloading
I
animation,
mean,
and that's the
but
same thing. There are some people that couldn't give less of a shit of like all the fighting game mechanics and the casualization you're talking about. And like you say, what did you say exactly? Like being able to perform combos easier makes them less satisfying. Is that what you said? Is that accurate?
yes, because everybody can do it, so they don't feel particularly like, oh, I accomplished something. It's not a challenge to overcome the combo
So
system.
so everyone will feel that.
I don't know, maybe not the casuals that it's designed for, but that's the only people I can think of that might get something out of it. But it's kind of just whack, dude. Like, kind of just feels
Can you
general.
repeat that? That can
Can I
you
repeat
repeat that?
that?
What?
It just kind of just feels
Like
whack. Kind of just feels
what
lame.
what is that? Wait. So
That
you're
like
just
doing the
just saying you
moves.
don't like this. So all you're saying is I don't like this. That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm telling you how the casualization of the game's mechanics hurts the
Uh huh.
overall experience
But
of the
that's not.
game, right?
You say it hurt. What hurt for you, right? Like this. Like it doesn't make the game unplayable. people could still play it and find enjoyment out of this. Correct?
Well, I did say that people still play the game.
Exactly. But you just said like it's saying stuff like it damages it or it makes it worse and stuff like that. But that's just your perspective. That's just how you.
I mean, if you really want to get semantic about it, I guess you can argue that yeah, that's just an opinion. But you can argue that games
There we
being
go.
objectively good is an opinion. I mean, I don't really know.
No, we can. No, we can. There's a formula. We can. Have you ever watched a Mahler?
Oh, a Mahler video?
You know who Mahler is?
Yeah, I know who Mahler is. I've seen a couple of his videos, but only the ones about movies. I don't know if he said anything about video
Okay.
games.
Okay. Well, he's not the one who invented this, of course, but he's helped to popularize it and remind people that objectivity exists. So we can look at a game, we can look at its details, and we can look at a scale, like of what works, what doesn't work, if the game is functional, if it's playable, if certain elements contradict and disable one another and whatnot. Like from what you're describing here, like the game is just a different playstyle, a different control schemes, mechanics are changed
Do
up.
you do
It's
mind if
not
I interject for a little bit? Because
sure.
I
Go
just want
ahead.
to I
Go
just
ahead.
want to point something out that I feel is just a little off. Like this isn't like an accusation or anything. I just kind of feel like it's kind of weird how I program games and I've actually built alpha types for games, and I care more about
Cool.
the game being fun. Like I'm not just sitting here talking about it from a purely functional standpoint.
Fun
I
is
just kind of find
subjective.
it, yeah, like
Fun is subjective, dude. Fun is subjective. There are people who find like murder and rape fun. That doesn't mean those are objectively good things. Like there are people who find horrible, awful things.
I mean, you can
Like there are
argue
people
that
who find the most
morals
boring
in
things.
and of themselves are subjective, and it's kind of
There,
hard
no,
to
no,
argue.
okay. That's fair. But like, there's also people that find watching paint dry fun. There are legitimate people like that. People find different things fun. You're saying I want to make games fun. Well, fun for you, your personal kind of fun, your preference of fun, your personal perspective of fun.
I mean, that's not really the point I was trying to get. I was just pointing out how, like, you're talking about, well, we can look at all these objective things and stuff. But like
Yes,
by
to determine a
that,
game's quality.
yeah, but by that standard, like, I guess you can argue a lot of games technically work, but so the fun is subjective. Then, like, how can you even prioritize fun? Like, how do you even find the fun in a game? Because like that's kind of cutting the game design
That's
aspect out of it.
that will totally vary from, and it doesn't cut the game design. There are people who will design their games in a certain way. Oh, this is going to be, I'm going to make this game simplistic, have a simplistic loop. There are other people that are going to, other designers that are going to be like, okay, I want this to be complex, in depth, have a lot of moving parts, have people really work at it in their mind. And some people are going to like that. Some people are going to find it fun. Some people aren't. Like the upcoming Doom. I can't wait to play that game, and I'm looking forward to it because of the depth, because of its game design. I really like how the guys have designed, but I know for a fact there are going to be people that don't find Doom Eternal fun. It may be a well-designed game. I can argue that, there's intricacies. The devs they did a lot of really smart, intentional things where different mechanics like bounce off of one another and whatnot. But that doesn't make it necessarily fun for everyone. That doesn't make it fun. That makes it competently.
Well, I don't know how you can say the game is deep if you haven't played it as a demo come out.
Oh, I'm just okay. Okay, sorry. Let's Doom Eternal. We'll do Doom 2016. Is that better? Just replace Doom Eternal with Doom 2016. Is that
I
better?
mean, okay, if it's relatively the same game, I'm just saying like anything could happen with this game, dude. And I'm actually a little
What?
worried. I'm actually a little worried
What are
that
we
Doom.
talking?
No, I said anything could happen with Doom Eternal. I mean, if it's just like relatively the same game as as Doom 2016, then yeah, I guess it'll be fine. But I won't know that until it comes out.
Okay, we're deflecting here, man. We're changing topics. We were talking about game design, finding.
No, all I did was comment on Doom Eternal and said that you
Oh
know,
yeah, but that's a whole other subject. We're changing the topic here on
well, look,
topic.
I'm not
So
trying
do
to
you
change
agree?
the
Do you
topic.
agree?
So,
Okay, I'm not. I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm not saying there's malice behind what you're doing. I'm not saying what you're doing has malice behind it, or it's like malicious or mischievous or anything like that. I'm just saying we're losing the focus.
all
So,
right.
do you agree with what I stated earlier? That fun is subjective, and that there can be good game design, smart game design. We can look at intricacies, like we can see, there was more effort put into this than that, and whatnot. But fun is totally subjective, person to
Look,
person.
fun
Like you
isn't
might find these.
subjective at its core, but there are core game design practices that are objectively good and bad. Like, I personally don't
But
mind
objectively, yes,
grinding
they
in
have more
games.
effort. That they have more
It's
effort put
not
into
about
them.
effort.
That
It's
like they
about how
like.
it actually affects the player. Because like I'm talking from the perspective of game designer and how it affects like the player. Like like people actually study the reactions of players when they do play testing when they make these games. So like
Uh
I for
huh.
one don't mind grinding. Like I actually like grinding in RPGs, but a lot of people have negative reactions to grinding. Grinding does not encourage any kind of intellectual no growth from the player. They're just doing the same thing over and over again so they can get a bigger number
Ooh,
so they can fight a
that
boss with a bigger
depends on
number. Like that's not very
depends on the
good
game.
game design. Now I don't mind that. I love doing that. But I actually consider that to be objectively bad game design. I actually wouldn't put that in a game, even though some of my favorite games have that in there. So when you say fun is subjective, yeah, at its core, you're right. I don't like shooters, but that doesn't mean shooters are bad. But there are some things you can put in a game that are just bad that you should just never do. Like backtracking is bad. You should
Okay,
try to refrain from putting a lot of backtracking in a game. Try not to waste the
but what if you
player's
do that well?
time. Do that well. I mean,
Well,
you do it
different
well by
different.
minimizing it and putting in fast travel.
No, no, but can back travel be done well? Can it be done well if it is like handled cleverly or something like
If
that?
you have
Have
proper
you
like
played Near
warp
Automata?
points and stuff, I mean,
No, wait, have you played Near Automata?
no, I do want to play it. I have the first Nier, but I haven't gotten to play the Nier games. I only
Oh, well,
played Dragon Guard 3.
there's tons of backtracking near Automata. I didn't see many complaints from reviews and whatnot. That doesn't mean like some people like it, some people
Well,
won't
how
like it
did
and
they
whatnot.
handle the
Like,
backtracking? You just said that, can it be handled
ooh,
well?
that's spoilers. That's spoilers. That's spoilers for the game. That's legit spoilers for the
I
game. If you're
guess.
gonna
I
play
mean,
that,
I kind of care about the story behind Dragon Guard because I played Dragon Guard 3, but I don't know. I also need to play the first Nier. I was gonna play the first Nier before I even played Automata,
hmm,
but yeah. I know, but
fair enough.
like
Fair enough.
if
Again,
it
like
has something to do with how
if
the
you tell
story
me
works,
if I tell you how the backtracking works, that will spoil the story.
well, I know you play as 9S. I know you play as I know there's multiple timelines in the game, just like in Dragon Guard. I know that much. So if that's what we're talking about backtracking, then this it's kind of not really the same. I'm talking about like making a player go back to previous areas because they have like an ability now they can unlock a
Yes.
secret area or something. That's kind of dumb
Yeah.
sometimes. Like it really depends on how you do it. Like I wouldn't say that the Ratchet games did it particularly wrong, and I don't think Jack and Daxter really does that at all. I mean, it does it with a couple of things, but it's like really minimalistic. So when it's minimalistic, it's hard to really complain about it. But a lot of games, well, I guess maybe not a lot of games. There's
A
like
lot
been
of
some games,
games.
right? That probably shouldn't say it like that. But games space,
Well,
especially
which games?
platformers have. Which games? A lot of platformers did that. Spyro 2 kind of did that for like no reason. They always had like one thing in the game where the ability from the next world was needed for you to do it because fuck you, we're not going to just allow you to do it at that time. It's like, okay, I mean, that doesn't kill the game. Three
Oh,
technically kind of did that
fuck
too.
you, fuck. Wait, hold it. Like, what about people who like? Are they invalid? Like, is that
I
like
mean,
does
I
that?
like backtracking. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm talking about as someone who loves those games, that those types of design decisions aren't like, they don't really enhance the game. They kind of just add busy work to it. And all because I accept it doesn't mean it's good.
I didn't say that you don't have to accept it or not accept it, but you're saying like okay. Oh
I think
boy.
there's
All
just a
right. So
miscommunication of terms. Like, we're kind of, I guess, kind of like losing that eye to eye contact we had when we were on that feminism stuff in regards to that and the whole game design thing. I think that's kind of where the miscommunication is coming from.
okay. So but are we in agreement that not every just because something is good or bad, that doesn't mean someone will like or dislike it based off its quality, correct? Can we agree on
Yeah, we can agree on that. Just like, can we agree that
that?
a
Okay.
game's that we can agree that a game's quality has nothing to do with its sales?
I never said that. I never said that. I never made that argument.
I'm just referencing how you mentioned like the sales for like Pokemon and Sword and Shield and stuff, and
That
the Bonfetti video. It's just like the
that's
sales
about
don't really.
popularity. That's not about quality. That's about popularity. That's not about quality.
People are having very negative reactions to that game, and I don't even know where to
So,
begin. Like, have you heard of Distant Kingdom?
never heard of it.
Distant Kingdom, like that's a YouTuber. He's like a Pokemon YouTuber. He does a lot of videos covering just how much of a mess Sword and Shield came out. I
I know.
would just
I've been
watch his.
following Sword and Shield. I have friends who picked up Sword and Shield and didn't like it, but I wasn't talking about its quality. I never said that numbers
You mean
equal
his
quality.
interest? Yeah. People who are
Yes,
interested in it.
that is what I was talking about in the Bomb Fetty video.
Yeah, well,
He
I
said
think
that
what
people
he meant
basically
when he
said that
said people are getting stagnant, because you do mention that he made that error, that grammar mistake. He said people are getting stagnant with that game. What he meant
Mhm.
by that is that people are kind of like they played the game, they got it, it wasn't the highest quality, it made a lot of sales, people were interested in it, but they got the game. It's kind of like, you know what, I don't really like this. I only like the game that you gave me. And like all because they bought it and then came to that conclusion because the game got a negative score on Metacritic, like that doesn't really that's not really, that wasn't his point. People he said people are getting fed up with Pokemon. I mean, and it took this game for them to say that.
He said that the game didn't do well. That's what he said. He said the game didn't do well. It did do well. Whether people like it or dislike it is a whole other
Well, I
story.
mean,
He
by
said the
do
game
well, he
didn't
could
do
have
well.
meant sales or the game's like quality, the game's like how people are reacting to it.
Well, if he didn't want this kind of confusion and this kind of argumentation over his video, he should have fucking re-recorded and reworded.
Well, I mean, YouTube isn't exactly a business to a lot of people. I don't care about my videos that much. That's why I don't even
I
edit
never
them that
said
much.
anything about business. I never said anything about business. It's about basic communication and understanding. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
If he had worded that video better, do you think I would have made my video had he worded his had he simply worded his video, reworded it, rescripted it, actually put some effort into what he was saying? Do you think I would have made my video if he had presented himself better?
I don't know. He probably didn't even know who you were when you made that video. How would I couldn't
I'm
tell
not
you.
I'm not asking if he knew I existed. I'm just saying, based on what you know, do you think I would have made my video if he had presented himself better?
I mean, I want to say no, but I can't say that I know you that well just from this one conversation. I know you more than like not at all. But
Am I not throughout my response video? Did I not go at specifically what he did say? I am going after what he said.
yeah, you did
Correct.
go after what he did say, but like I said, I feel like you're overanalyzing him, and he might have said something else that you could have overanalyzed. It really depends on what he said. Like, I guess I'd have to ask you, what would you prefer he had said instead? That I think that's a better jumping off point because it could.
Separated objectivity from subjectivity. If he had clearly said a line in the sand, this is my opinion. I'm not saying this is for everyone. I'm not saying this is the way things are. This is just how I feel. If he had left it completely subjective, a total opinion piece, I would have had no problem. But he made absolute statements, generalizations, and stated this is the way things are.
All right, I feel like I need to introduce you to someone. Have you heard of a channel called Joseph Anderson?
Oh, yes, I used to like him, but then he kind of got exposed for being a massive hypocrite and a coward.
Really? Now I have no clue about that, so you'd have to fill me in on that. I watch a video.
Mahler.
Mahler made a
I
video
can
about
show
it.
you the Mahler. But yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah. I can show you all this. Like,
yeah, I'm actually genuinely curious because I do follow Joseph Anderson. I was think he was kind of one of the people I was thinking of trying to model myself after. I was thinking, it's like, okay, I want to try to be like Joseph Anderson mixed with Razor Fist with a dash of Mr. Medicare. I want to be like that.
who's Medicare? Who's Mr. Medicare?
You don't know about Mr. Medicare? I mean, I was watching his stream.
Oh, Medicare. You said care, Medicare. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Medicare. I know who Medicare is. You said Medicare at first there.
No, I mess him. I
I
guess
thought
it's
was like I thought like for a second. Is he talking about healthcare?
boy, boy, healthcare. Need me some of that
Oh boy.
healthcare. But yeah. So
Okay, so if those are your role models, go for it. But yeah, like I'm guessing you're talking about his subjectivity is implied video,
yes,
garbage video.
really, I'm curious to hear your take on that.
Here. I'll just link you the Mahler video.
All right.
It's full of logical. be aware it's a several hour long video, so maybe listen to this as a podcast when you have free time or whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
One
sure.
second, let me get it
That's
up.
fine. Yeah.
Subjectivity. Point is, his video is filled with several logical fallacies. He contradicts himself. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
subjectivity. Multiple times throughout the video. Here we go. Joseph Anderson versus subjectivity. Here's the it's a 4-hour long video. So again, I recommend listening to this like a podcast, but they break down
So
Mahler and
I can
friends
listen. I can
breakdown.
listen to a baller video like a 4 hour long podcast, but my 4 hour long podcast is bad.
What? I never said that. I just like wait. You're talking about your sexuality video?
Yeah, I'm just making light of how
I
people reacted to it because people say my videos are too long, and it's like I make my videos long because of
there's
people like
nothing wrong.
Baller.
There's nothing wrong with making your videos longer. But even Mahler does some light editing and cuts out like long pauses and shit like that and intermission.
Yeah, wait,
I'm not
wait.
saying we're not saying don't make long videos. I make long videos. There's nothing wrong with making long videos. But don't keep long pauses and things where you're talking over yourself and shit like that. Do some light editing, some cleaning. I'm
I
more
mean,
likely to listen. More people are more likely to listen. You put that little bit extra effort in. You remove like the kind of bullshit dead air, and more people are willing to listen.
oy vey. So it's an issue of getting people to actually want to listen. That would explain all the people who are talking about stuff I don't talk about. There's this whole thread on there on my video. Yeah, 'cause there's 51 comments on here. Holy shit, I didn't know there were that many replies. Yeah, but I talked to this one dude for like 30 replies where he just talks about stuff. It's like if you watched the video, you would have known what I actually meant, right? But I'm not gonna dwell on that. But yeah. But yeah. So 4 hour long Mahler video, I can listen to that, especially since it's about Joseph. I mean, look, I watch Joseph Anderson videos. Obviously, I have patience. I can endure that. I'll be fine.
Excellent. Excellent. Point is the subjectivity is implied. That's just dumb. You put too much put too much responsibility on the viewer. You're basically saying I can do whatever I want. It's up to you it's up to you to sort out my mess. Like I don't have to put any effort in defining myself or taking care in creating a well-written script. Like it's all on you. It's all on you. And if you get it wrong, if I don't like your critique, oh well, you're just wrong. It's not my fault. I couldn't have worded myself better.
Hmm. I mean, okay, I'll have to listen to the video to get the full
I
concept
know,
of it.
I know, but I'm just doing a quick summary of my point of view of his video. His video is saying, don't you can't you can't critique me. God, how do I say this? How do I put this? Okay, he's saying you can't critique me because this is all my opinion. Even though I'm stating things that are incorrect, doesn't matter if it's my opinion. These are things that are incorrect. You can't criticize me for these things because they're my opinion and whatnot. The point is, even if let's say Bombfetti's video. Like that was mostly his opinion. The way he worded it, it like comes with the implication with those words that he was saying this is factual, and I take issue with that because it spreads misinformation.
I mean, I don't. I feel like that's kind of just a communication issue because when Joseph
I
Anderson
mean,
says stuff
a
like,
communication issue that Bombfetti created that he could have easily resolved by like actually putting some effort in writing a script and actually like listening to what he said. And the thing is, he did listen to what he say. He edited over the video, but he didn't actually like think about what he said. Like when I make a video, I take the time, like I listen over it. I'm like, does that make sense? Did what I say make sense? Did I contradict myself? Stuff like that. Like just give the video a listen over once or twice. Like I'm just like he could have put effort. He could have put effort in the video. He didn't. He put effort into the slight editing and even some effort into the gameplay in the background. Like he was trying to play the games and whatnot. But he put no effort into considering, did what I say make sense?
um, I don't know, like I just don't, I just didn't take everything so literally. I guess that's just me. Like I didn't hear him say that and
Dude,
think to myself like, oh wow, he sounds like a big man child. It's just like, okay, I guess that's just his opinion or whatever. And I can kind of agree with that perspective and blah 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 blah. Like it wasn't that big of a deal to me. That's why I feel like you kind of overreacted to him.
okay, but do you understand why it's a big deal to me?
Do I understand why it's a big deal to you? I mean,
Yes. why I was so hostile to him. Do you understand why I was hostile towards him?
I mean, I guess I understand from your perspective why you were so hostile towards them, but I still don't really think it was justified. It was actually kind of almost infuriating to listen to if I'm being honest, because I listened to it, I'm just like, wow, dude, like this guy's coming in so hot. Like you just kind of sounded like a dick talking to him. So it's like, I want to.
I wasn't. I said at the beginning of the video I was gonna be a dick to him. I
I
said
mean,
that at the
that
beginning.
doesn't really
I'm
make
going
it
to be a dick.
okay. I
Really.
mean,
Okay, okay, by what standard? Okay, by what standard? Are we talking about your standard?
well, I mean that's going into whole good and bad are subjective, and I can
It
just kick
yeah,
babies.
yes, it's a yes or no question. Are you talking about it? I don't think that's justified from my standards. Are we talking? It's a yes or no question, man. It's a
Well, didn't
yes or
I
no
just
question.
say I? I mean, am I having a boomer moment? I could have sworn I just said I don't. I don't really think that's okay.
Yes, okay. So we're talking about your okay, good, good, good. Okay. So you personally don't like how I made that video. That is fine. You're allowed to not like how I handled that video. That is
Mm. I mean, all right. I mean, look, if it's all just just playground as antics like you said, then I guess
playground
uh,
insults. Playground
insults.
insults.
Yeah, I mean, look, if that's your perspective on it, then okay. I mean, that's fine. I guess it makes me feel a little more rest assured. It's like, okay, I can call this guy a cocksucker and get away with it because it's just playground antics. I actually thought that maybe I was being too mean, but all right, keep that in mind. But
What? Can you what are you I'm lost now. What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about insults, like, because obviously I insulted you in those videos that I made. I mean, well, you
Yeah.
watched it. Yeah, I insulted you. And I said I wasn't going to
Yes.
apologize for it, and I meant it, but it's not like I didn't think about whether or
Okay.
not that was too extreme or not. But your stance just kind of makes it sound like that doesn't matter. And it's like, if that's how you feel
No, my
about it,
stance is no. My stance is context is everything. Context is everything.
all right. I mean, if that's okay, I don't know. I guess I was raised a little bit differently. I don't know. Like, common courtesy is kind of just a thing that I'm a little like iffy about. Like,
Oh yes, I am absolutely 100% like supportive of common courtesy. I encourage common courtesy. Absolutely, absolutely.
all right, well, all right, that's fine. Let me just double check here. So we got the Mauler video that I'm gonna watch. Okay. Oh, this was a podcast. Oh, this actually was a podcast. Rags was in it too. All right. I've seen some of
Oh, you
those
know who
videos on my.
Rags is?
Yeah, I know about Rags. I know about Chris Raygun. Used to be subscribed to him too. Shoe on Head. I was there for all that trolls versus women stuff. I even made a video about it. If you go on my channel, you see that on featured channels, there's this channel called Pat Masher. That was my original channel, and I made the video about Aeneas Sarkeesian and all her bullshit. So I made that video. It was pretty well received. Didn't get a lot of views, but it was still well received. And a meme video about Sonic. Where I was just making fun of Sonic Lost World being too much like Super Mario Galaxy. But then, real life happened. I just decided, I don't want to keep doing that YouTube stuff. But then I decided to come back because fuck it. But yeah, I know who those people are. I guess that's the point I'm getting at. Yeah, I know about Rags.
Okay.
But let's just
So,
see.
is there any you had several questions. You had several questions in your 2 hour response, man. So, you have several questions. I'm here now. Ask your questions. What do you want to know?
Oh, as far as stuff from the video in particular, I guess one thing I can
No, not just like what do you want to know? What do you want to know? It doesn't need to be stuff about the video in particular. Surely you have questions for me. What do you want to know?
I mean, like, trying to think because want to make sure we cover all things. I'm trying to stop for myself from repeating myself and be talking about for a while now, so just to make sure that I get fully like what your positions are. So like, what would you say is like the goal of your channel?
To do whatever I want to have fun, support my friend?
Okay, but like like I said, like I felt like the theme of your channel was to focus more on positive aspects of games. It's like I said, like when people say make videos like the Bomb
Oh,
Betty video.
the theme of my channel is whatever I want it to be.
I mean, yeah, but like when you make videos that constantly say that you need to stop complaining about microtransactions are not going anywhere, because that's what you told me the video was about. These are so many
Mhm.
great games. People are like kind of like
Oh, I'm not
misconstruing games
saying
being
wait,
bad.
hold it. I'm not saying necessarily stop complaining about microtransactions. Like, hey, don't like even in your own personal time, like you can complain about whatever you want. You're not hurting anybody. I'm just saying the moral outrage. There's no reason to be moral outraged about microtransactions because it doesn't accomplish anything. Like devoting that kind of energy and mind space and whatnot. I apologize for the.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically when I talked about that in the Mortal Kombat video that I made, but generally speaking, I kind of just don't care. I mean, I think I've made my position pretty clear. AAA games, they don't really even exist to me, honestly. That's just my position on it. But yeah, so I get that, so okay, don't complain about a lot of stuff. You make like your videos about like I guess I look at the titles again. Like you made videos talking about basically how gamers are like being like they're too negative, I guess, about like the state of the industry. Like oh, there's so many good games that you guys aren't playing and stuff,
No,
right? Like
not necessarily. No, it's people are being willfully ignorant. That's my
willfully
thing.
ignorant.
People are being willfully ignorant. Because like the people who say like, oh, there's no good games that come out nowadays, all the industry shit, that's just blatantly not true. That's not blatantly true. You do a little bit of research. You just do a fucking Google search and you can see, wow, hundreds of games came out in 2019, 2018. There's so much variety, so many options. There's so many more games with higher review scores and like games that have critically acclaimed, large community. Gaming is such an incredible, diverse hobby. It's so, oh my god, there's so many beautiful, wonderful games. Like I'm still working through. I'm working on my top 10 games of 2019 as we speak, and it's such a challenge to pick my 10 favorites. There's so many good games, so many good games, so many creative IPs, so many like unique ideas. So gaming is beautiful. Gaming is beautiful. I am passionate about gaming. It is my one of my favorite hobbies. My preferred favorite method of storytelling. All that.
As somebody who actually works on games, I guess I'm just not seeing it. I have a little more of an obviously a more cynical view on the industry. I looked up a list of all the games released in 2019. It's not like I couldn't pick games out that were good. I would say that there were more good games in that list than bad games. But it's kind of like who even cares at this point, right? But that's just how I feel about it. It's like what the fuck is even the point anymore? But just to elaborate on that though, like like you say, if you do a little bit of research, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier about advertisement and stuff and like pushing games for it. Is that yeah, you could argue that these people should look more into these games, but
Yeah, be an informed consumer. Be an informed consumer. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a shill. Be
well, the
informed. Inform
average
yourself. It is
consumer is a zombie buyer.
well, that's not my problem, and that's
That's not
not
my
the
problem
company's
either,
problem.
but that's kind of what dictates the shit that we have to endure from this industry is all I'm saying. It's like so like with Bomb Fetty, right, with his video, like what I would have done was would argue a point that like you're being ignorant of games. Like I would have told him that, you're not looking at the bigger picture of how many games there are out there. You're talking about games in a broad sense and you're like ignoring multitudes of other games. And I would have presented a counter argument with some games that, weren't shit from
I've made
2019.
those. I've made several of those kinds of videos.
Yeah, but
I've made several of
we
those
already
kinds.
talked about that though. You made videos like that, but the Bomb Fetty
Yeah,
video didn't have that in it, and that's the video
yeah, because
directed at
that wasn't the
him.
focus. Because that wasn't the focus. The focus was on the dumb adult stuff. That is why I made the video. That I even said that in my video that was the focal point. That was what drove me to make that video. Like the
I
whole
don't know.
beginning part of me going over like the whole semantics and the stuff he was saying, that was just to provide like context. Okay, this is the kind of video he made. This is the kind of like how he's presenting himself and whatnot. That was just like opening fluff for context. Like if I wanted to make the video the way I wanted to make it, I would have just skipped to the dumb adult stuff bit. But then like you'd be missing out on mountains of.
All right, I mean, I guess I understand that. I personally just wouldn't have done that. Like, there's a reason I didn't just open my cheeks and shit on Miss Easy in that video that I made about her. It was 4 hours and 30 minutes, but it wasn't 4 hours and 30 minutes of me just bashing her personally. It's kind of felt unnecessary. But that's going around in circles, so I'll leave that alone. We already talked about that. So.
Hmm?
Yeah. So, all right. So there's that.
But wait, so what was the thing? Like you said, the purpose of my channel earlier. That's what you want to know?
Yeah, because I feel like you're like that. The theme that you're trying to get at is to try to get us to not be so
I don't
doom and gloom
theme. I'm not
about
thinking.
games.
I'm not. There's no theme, man. I'm not. There's no theme. There's no anything like that. I just make the video. Oh,
Well, I mean
I have an
that's the
idea. I want to
impression
make
I'm
this.
getting. And you tell me there's no theme. That's perfectly fine. But when you make
If there is a theme, like it's I don't have like a I don't know what you call like a like. There's no plan. Let's just say that there's no plan. There's no like overarching scheme or anything like that.
I mean, I didn't say there was a scheme, but some people base their channel
No,
around a
I'm sorry.
concept.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wrong word to use. Wrong word to use.
A
I'm sorry for
scheme
the
makes it
confusion.
sound like a plan. Some people actually have like like the maybe not a mission statement, but like I want to focus on this. Like for the longest time, it seems like your focus on this channel has been about sexy voice actors and subverse and shit. I don't even know where to begin about that. I guess I just don't care about that stuff. So that's like a whole stream of videos that I have zero interest in, and it just kind of looks tacky to me. But you don't have to care about my bad take on that. It just seems like when I look at your channel and there's like loot like that feels like clickbait. I talked about that in my second video about it when I was just like kind of just bashing the way the channel is structured because it doesn't feel like it's like made genuinely. So when you gave me the opportunity to talk to you about it, it figured, okay, well, I can ask him about that. So like, is there a reason like behind besides just wanting to have a mildly successful YouTube channel that you post a lot of the clickbaity titles and the titles and the lewd descriptions? Like, what's the
Oh,
motivation
dude,
behind that?
that's to get clicks, man. That's to get clicks. YouTube is bullshit. It won't advertise my video, so I gotta manipulate the system. I even made a video about
Well, I mean that explains the view count. I don't know why you can have 70,000 subscribers and not get views, but I mean if it's the algorithm
dude.
fucking you in the ass, I can understand that.
Of course it is. Of course it is. What would you think it was? Of course.
I mean,
And
like
not just that, and not just that. Thousands of those accounts are dead accounts that I got back in like 2014. I got thousands of subscribers around 2014 that only subscribed for Warframe, and they were a lot of kids and teenagers that will basically abandon the accounts. So my numbers are highly inflated.
oh, well, I didn't know about that. Well, that's curious to keep in mind. All right, I'll keep that in mind. I don't know. I only really emphasize that because like because you titled it the downfall of B Dobbins, and downfall implies that like he's tanking when it's like people didn't really take to what he
That,
said particularly
but
negatively.
I present my arguments throughout the video. Like you're taking the title literally.
Well, I mean, I guess you can make the same
That's
counter
just the
argument I
title.
was
What about the
making.
con? Isn't the content of the video more important than the title?
I mean, I guess, but it's like, is that really a downfall? It didn't really kill his channel. His channel only died when he stopped uploading.
That's not what I was talking about.
I
That's
watched
not
the
what I was.
video. I know that's what you're talking about, but like you could have picked like if you didn't want that type of miscommunication, you could have just picked a different title. Like you see how we kind of just went in a circle right now. You're talking about being misunderstood, and I'm telling you, maybe if you use a different title, that wouldn't have been an issue, which is exactly the issue that you have with Bombfetti. That if you use different types of wording, you wouldn't have taken him so literally. I mean, I can't make Bombfetti talk to you for you, but like that would have been better.
I know.
Like I don't know. Like I feel like if you guys talk to each other, then maybe you could sort that out. But like I don't think he's as pessimistic and as Peter Panish as you want to paint him out to be. If he turns out to be, then I guess I'll eat the hat I don't have. But I feel like you really did overanalyze him. But like I said, that's going around in circles. I'll leave that alone.
Okay.
But yeah, well that
One second. I'm
I do
sorry.
know what you
I'm
meant.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting a lot of messages at the moment. I'm just trying to respond to them as quickly as possible.
No, that's okay. People have lives. I think we've been going on for like maybe 3 hours or right about now. Let me just double check to make sure. Like, if I ask all the questions, um, ask for the motivation behind that. Oh, I guess here's another question I have for you because I'm kind of curious. Well, do you intend to respond to the Ackman's video about it? Because you kind of talked about it in the Bombfetti video, but did you have any intention of
Oh,
actually making a video about it?
I just use that. I use that as clickbait. I even said in the video, it's a bait and switch. Like the whole point, of it, like Atman's criticism of the industry was fair. Like his criticism of the video game industry was fair. I have no problem with it. He clearly said, "Okay, this is my opinion. I'm looking at it from a more pessimistic perspective. I'm not saying this is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Like this is a broad topic. Like he covered his bases. Actman covered his
Cover his bases. Uh-oh. Is that Discord or is that me? Uh-oh. I think I'm getting the vapors over here. Uh-oh. Are you alive? Uh-oh. Up, up. It's disconnecting. Disconnected. All right, is Discord working still? Or are we still eating copious amount of shit on Discord? Oh, there we go. Holy shit. Like I meant what I said when I said that my internet connection was trash. I meant that.
hello.
Wowee. Yeah, like it just cut out on me, like I said earlier. I made sure to warn people about that because I didn't know how the conversation was gonna go. It is just like is he just bouncing or whatever? Yeah. But I just DC'd on me. I just did that. Something wrong? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
My internet
Okay,
does
you
that.
I thought I had upset you. I thought I had upset you because you just like it didn't show you disconnecting. It just showed you here in the lobby, and like you weren't saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, I
Did
don't
I
know what you
upset
said
him
that
or
would
something
have
wrong?
upset me, but because you were just talking about the Ackman's video, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so like,
Do you
so it
hear? Did
was.
you hear what I said?
I only heard like the
Did you hear
first
what I
part
say before
about
you
that,
disconnected?
about it being subjective and balanced criticism. I only heard that part before it
Oh,
disconnected on
oh
me.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. What I said was with Actman's video, he made it very clear that hey, this is my opinion, this is my perspective. This is not the objective truth. These are not all the facts. I am taking a look at this from a pessimistic point of view. He was clear, decisive. He covered all his bases, and I like had his video there. Had his video there in my video to add to kind of show a contrast between a video that is like it's a well made criticism of the video game industry and Bombfetti's, which is
Bad. Is that what you're? Hey, am I disconnecting again, or is that
oh
Discord?
did you not hear me? Did you not hear anything?
No, I heard that part, but I heard all the way up to Bombfetti's video, which is blank, and I'm just like, you mean bad?
Oh, which is yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, dude. I mean, I could probably see myself making a video like the Ackmans. I wouldn't say it's my opinion though. I would just say exactly what I said in my other video, that games are not art, and I meant that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with the Ackman's video because that's more or less how I feel about the industry. It's just I play a lot of niche games, so games being shit doesn't really affect me because I play games I actually like. I got River City Girls last year. We're gonna get the episode 2 of the Shantae games. Like I play games that I actually care about. Streets of Rage is gonna come out. So it's not that every single game is bad, but I don't know. I already told my piece on that, but it can create a really pessimistic side point. I think did I cover that? Trying to make sure I'm not just going through a whole bunch of boomer tangents, but I'm pretty sure I talked about how you know the advertisements of the game, like a lot of these games, these AAA games, they're in everybody's face, and they don't know about the more niche
Oh,
titles, right?
hold it. In everybody's face. How are they in everybody's face?
Because they're just advertised more. There's more money pumped into advertising those games. They're more.
And what is forcing me to watch advert?
Nothing's forcing you to watch advertising, but like, I didn't
Then how
even
is it
know.
getting
I
shoved
didn't
in
even
my
know
face if
that.
I'm not being?
I didn't even know that Space Channel 5 game came out. I figured out about it completely by accident. Like I'm talking about that. Like I'm not saying that people are being forced to watch advertisements. It's just that you're more likely to know about games that are more readily available for you to be seen. Like that Samurai Jack game that I'm looking forward to. There's commercials for that game, but where's the commercial for Callie's Caves 5. I have to double check and see if that even came out.
Well, isn't it an indie? Well, is it an indie studio? Can they even afford it, man? That has to all to do with money. Like, can they even afford the marketing?
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense, but that's also kind of my point. Like you can say that there's lots of games to play, but
Yeah,
not all those games get that same kind of attention. And I think that
of course.
yeah, like that's a point that could be made about Bomb Betty's video is that, I mean, like I said that, you're not seeing the bigger picture. You're not you're not considering
He's
how many
clearly
games
not.
are actually out there and if you expose
Mm.
them to more obscure games, but like it seems like to me like most of the games you talk about are like high profile games and that's not particularly bad, but I bet I could start listing off a bunch of games that you just never heard of, and that's kind of like the problem as far as
But
like,
no, wait, that's not a problem. That's a good thing. That shows like the amount of diversity, the amount of creative artists working in the industry. The fact that so I can meet someone brand new and they can say, "Have you heard this game?" I go, "No." They show me like, "Wow, I've never heard this game. I've never seen this developer. I'm going to follow them, see what their work is. I'm going to check out this whole new game I've never experienced before." That's the beauty of video games. It's the diversity, the variety, the different stories they can tell, the worlds that they can build and we can experience.
wow, I guess I'm a little too old and jaded. I don't really like. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I don't wax on about games like that. I guess you haven't been taken by the demons yet, and completely like could be like whatever, games are whatever. But it's like I get what you're saying, but like that's my thing. Like I'd have like people would that have to go out of their way to like look for games and stuff, which is kind of like. I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't be expected to do that, but it's easier to have a more pessimistic view of games if your
Really?
perspective of games is not that
I
broad.
find being pessimistic, like personally, I'm sorry to interject, but I find being pessimistic actually difficult. Like it's so energy consuming. It consumes so much energy. It requires so much time and whatnot.
Again, it can
Like
give you
being pessimistic, like you have to
shingles.
go out of your
That's
shoot.
just a reference. That's just a joke
Oh, okay,
from
because
the.
okay, all right. I'm just my perspective. We're talking about perspectives here. From my perspective, like it's you have to go out of your way to be pessimistic because there's so much like there's so like I'm sorry to sound like a bright-eyed hippie here, but there's so much wonder in the world. There's so much awesome shit that you have yet to experience. Like if I just focus on this one thing, like, oh, big corporations are greedy. Yes, they always have been, always will be, and they will evolve and change in different ways. That's just the way of things. That's the system we have built. And unless there is a massive reformation, unless all the current people in charge die off, and there's a new generation of people and new ideas, things change, things evolve, but some things will always remain the same. What not? The world is as the world is, but there's so much more to experience. There's so much more to focus on and explore and discover.
I mean, I guess, but it's kind of like what I said in the video because I did talk about this in my second video that all because we ignore it doesn't make it go away. And and you said who said makes it go away, so we're kind of just going in a loop in regards to that. But but you're acknowledging that it's a thing. It's just that your perspective is that there's more good than bad, so the bad isn't really a big deal.
Absolutely.
All right, I
I'm
can
not
see
saying it's
that.
not a big deal. I'm just saying the moral. It's not that it's not a big deal. It's not that it doesn't have merit. It's that we have evidence. We have evidence. I even put out that the moral outrage is useless. It doesn't do anything.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't stop people from buying the games, that's for
NBA.
sure.
Exactly. The moral outrage does nothing. So let's put that energy into something more productive and helpful.
You're about to
Like
mention an
why spend
NBA
all this?
game.
I was talking about NBA 2K20. You've heard of that? The gambling game, the gambling basketball game.
Wow, I heard about WWE 2K20 being shit, but even the NBA game was shit. Wow, that's 12 bad games I can list from 2019. I didn't even know about that. Did that game come out in 2019? 12 games.
Yeah. NBA NBA, yeah, NBA, like, oof, that game's bad. But here's the thing, that was still, like, despite that game being atrocious, like, objectively bad, we have, like, evidence, like, oh, wow, this mechanic is broken, it doesn't work, this is a bug, this is a glitch, oh, these are some really, like, bad visual graphics and artifacting, stuff like even though it's the objectively bad game, it was still the best-selling game of 2019, and it was the best-selling sports game of all time.
Oof. That's bad. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was the best selling
Oh,
game. Oh fuck! It
Yeah,
was the
it's the best.
best-selling
Yeah,
game of
exactly.
that year.
Yeah, yeah, and sports game, and the best-selling sports game of all time. It broke record.
Wow, and people wonder why I'm so pessimistic about this
Well, yeah, but
shit.
here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Like this is the evidence I'm talking about that like people are going to buy garbage. There's going to be masses of people that buy garbage that don't do research, so we can't change that. Just bitching about microtransactions isn't going to get rid of them. So vote with your wallet instead. Let's look at the creatives who are being pro-consumer and let's support them and lift them.
Well, I mean, look, I think Jim Sterling said it best when he said that gamer boycotts are toothless. I mean, I kind of feel
I
like they
know, I
do.
know. I know, but that's an excuse. But to be with Jim Sterling, he made that video to kind of back your statement, like how calls these companies evil, but he still buys their game. Oh, he just says, and his excuse is, oh, boycotts don't work. So you still got to compromise your morals and be a massive hypocrite. That's your excuse. Boycotts don't work. Therefore, I'm going to be a moral hypocrite.
I
Because
mean,
keep in mind, he calls all these companies, Activision, EA, Ubisoft, he calls them all evil scumbags. They're horrible people, and yet he still gives them money.
I don't know. Since his job is to review games, and I kind of talked about this with Blue Goblin, so
He's his own boss. He's his own boss. He's allowed to take moral stands and make moral principles and make moral business decisions. He's not owned by any company. He is his own boss. He's choosing to call these corporations evil and then give them money. He doesn't have to review them. It is his job to be his critic, but he chooses what he critiques.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know how else he's going to warn us about the game without playing it. Someone could gift him the game. You talked about a game that somebody gift you when you played, and then you played it and talked about it. But it's like I have to play the game. So either I pirate the game or somebody gives me the game.
Well,
But I have to like,
boycott the whole company. Just say until there's he is under no obligation to warn people if a game is good or bad. If he says the company is evil, that should be a warning. Okay, don't buy games from this company.
well, I mean, I couldn't really believe him without any evidence. But I guess in
He has
my
evidence. He had evidence in the past. He's established. Okay, there's a track record. His company has established a track record of being immoral. Therefore, I am not going to purchase products from them anymore. He has said time and time again that these companies are immoral. If they are immoral, why are you giving your money to these immoral companies? Oh, I need to prove that their games are immoral. You've already established that their games are immoral. You've already established and made the statement several times that they refuse to change. So why do you keep giving them money?
uh,
Context is everything, man.
for
And based on the
content, I
net, and
guess I need to make more content.
he can make content without compromising his morals and showing himself to be a hypocrite. Context is everything, man. Context is everything.
Oh, to be fair, I never said I was a big fan of Jim Sterling. I never said I was a
I never
scratch of
said
him.
you were. I never said you were.
I
But
was
you,
just
yeah, I
gearing
never
up to
said you
talk
were.
shit about him because I remember what was happening during that Anita Sarkeesian shit.
Oh yes, he's an absolute leftist apologist.
So there's always that aspect. So I mean, because on one hand, I agree with. I think we're in agreement with the stance that you shouldn't support games you don't like. I think we agree on that, and that's why I don't support AAA gaming because AAA gaming is trash. That's why I said games weren't art. That's where all that comes from. That's why I don't play the games. That's why I'm not getting Doom Eternal. I don't care about it, so I don't put any money into it. I couldn't tell you whether or not it was good or bad because I haven't played it, but I just assume it's trash, so I treat it like trash. Right? I treat that entire part of the industry as trash. But that's like on the other hand, it's like I'm saying something is trash without playing it. So like either I play the game and you chastise me for supporting something so because I say it's trash, right? But I confirm that it's trash by playing it, or I say it's trash without playing it at all, and it's like, well, how do you know it's trash if you don't play it? Because that's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm just gonna say the game is shit because I don't want to play it. I don't trust it. I don't think it's made in good faith. I don't care. That's how I feel about AAA gaming, right? So I mean, if that stance is acceptable, I mean, as long as I'm not supporting games, like I'm not being a hypocrite, right? Because I'm not giving them my money. But I mean, that's how I feel.
Exactly.
All right, so I guess all right, so I guess between the two, the better option is just assume something is trash and don't play it because at least then you wouldn't be a hypocrite.
I wouldn't say that. I don't want to say assume something is trash. I'm just saying don't support the company if you think they're immoral and evil. Like, an immoral and evil company can still put out a good product.
I mean, I get what you're saying there, but I guess I should clarify that the reason I don't play these games is because I legit think that they're garbage.
No. You don't like.
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
like
like them.
them,
You
but
just
like
don't like
I
them.
don't respect I don't respect AAA gaming. I guess it's kind of what I'm
That's
saying.
fine. That's fine. Like, I feel.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit, but I get what you're saying. But yeah, that's just my take. So yeah, so don't say a company is evil and then give them money because that makes you a big hypocrite. Okay, but I mean I don't know how else they're gonna
Exactly.
warn me about the game. Um, because like
Well,
how would I know about
why
it?
do you need to be? Why do you need to be warned? If the name of the company is attached to it, that's your warning, right?
Well, like, what if I don't know the full story behind it? Or what if this game is different from the last one? Like, if somebody reviews the game and tells me what's wrong
Wait,
with that specific
why should
game,
that matter? Why should that matter? If the same CEO, like Jim Sterling says, "Oh, these are horrible, evil, greedy people," like, they're still going to get your money, even if they're putting out a good product that's different from the last one. The same evil, immoral CEO is still going to get your money.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I get that. That's why I treat these companies like trash. I don't respect it. But I'm just saying, like, if you make game reviews, B Dombas would make videos about, Destiny 2 and all that kind of stuff, talking about the game and stuff. Like, he can't, like, that's like he says so much stuff that I just couldn't believe if he didn't actually play it. And that's just kind of what I'm getting at. It's like I get what your perspective is, and I'm not even saying that that's inherently wrong. But I don't necessarily think you're a hypocrite per se for trying to like do your job. If you make a video reviews, like you run a channel where you just review games and
They are
stuff,
their
and
own dude. Okay,
yeah, I know you. They
what do
are
you
their
prefer?
own
Sodium
bosses. They don't
Overdrive,
have
Sodium?
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They are their own bosses, man. No one is forcing them. They are not being forced.
And they're not being. I didn't say they were forced though. It's just that that's what they do. That's what their thing is.
Yes,
Is I play this game.
because
I
they're
review it so
choosing
you
to.
don't have to. I watch this bad movie so you don't fucking have to. You know. You know the nostalgia critic, right? I don't have to explain that
Yeah, I
reference,
know,
right?
nostalgia critic. Yeah, I know.
They play the bad games, so I don't have to. It's like, oh, thanks for telling me why this game was trash. I almost bought it. I don't know.
Well, if that's the stance they want to take, if they just want to talk, if B Dobbins and Jim Sterling just want to talk about the quality of games, that's fine. But they go beyond that. They talk about the morals behind the company. They don't keep this professional. They go into more.
I mean, I can kind of see that, but like when you open up the game and there's all those microtransactions and you actually see how it plays out in the game, like oh, I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and I have to grind for hours to get Darth Vader. When you actually experience that, you might actually have a more negative opinion. Like, holy shit, this game wasted my time for fucking Vader. I'm going to get on mic and read. You know, I don't know.
Okay, if this is like some pedestrian, like someone making their first video, like, this is a whole, like, the context here is completely.
I get because I think like I think the disconnect we're having is that like you're kind of talking about Activision and their track record. You're kind of talking about it from the perspective of people that should know better, people like me, compared to people who maybe they're not in the know about video games and can't list a whole bunch of obscure shit that nobody knows about.
No one's required. No one's required to do that. No one's required to do that. But you can do basic information. Like, if I, well, you don't need to be a hardcore gamer. You don't need to be enthusiast to do basic research. All right, does this game have microtransactions? I don't like microtransactions. I don't like playing games with microtransactions. Does this game have microtransactions? Well, let me look this up. Do a simple Google search. Anyone can do that. It doesn't matter if you're hardcore, plebeian, casual, whatever. This is a process that everyone can do. Everyone has access.
I mean, technically that's true. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I kind of do that, but not really. I kind of just ignore the games in general and just play with like, hey,
We've
that game looks
established this,
fun.
yeah.
But I would say the average person doesn't do that, but you would just say that's not your problem, which is totally true. It's not my problem. I talk about that all the
Yeah.
time. Like, the game's not my problem. You guys can just eat shit and enjoy it. It's not my problem. But yeah, the average person is like, they see a shiny ball, and like, people often just forget about stuff. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of event status, but he talked about this in a couple of his
Oh,
videos about how, people just forgive these companies way too easily. Like, I honestly feel like people don't actually believe what they say. I think that we can kind of agree with that. I feel like gamers are kind
oh
of full of
yes.
shit when they talk about these things. 'Cause we
Oh
talk
yes,
about
I've
how
made
these
videos.
things are
I have
bad.
made videos about that.
We talk about how these fucking games are bad or the DLC practices is bad, but they still buy it anyway. Even some of my
Exactly.
friends got Street Fighter Five, even though they already complained about it. It's like I have Street Fighter Five, but I actually like Street Fighter Five. I played it on Steam when they had one of those free weekends. Like, okay, I like Arcade Edition. I'll get it for my PS4. So I didn't complain about it. But that just kills me how like you'll complain about the game, you'll get it anyway, and then you won't even pirate it. You'll actually pay for it. So I don't know. I feel like people need to be stronger on their convictions. So I think we can agree on that statement as far as not
Yes,
supporting games you
yes,
don't
that
like.
is one of the stances I've taken. That is one of my main stances and arguments that gamers like are toothless and they don't stand behind their convictions. I've made several videos about.
All right, so we can at least walk away from this conversation know that we agree on that point. Well, I guess 2 points if you count
Absolutely.
the social justice stuff. So we at least agree on two things. Hey, that commenter wasn't all that wrong after all. We aren't all that different after all. Hubba bubba bubba ba.
What comment?
Oh, somebody commented on the video I did about you that you have like similar stances about me and the whole growing up thing because I do talk about how games aren't that fucking important. But that's also why I don't make a
I
lot of
know. I
videos and
talk
I
about
don't
that
play a
all
lot
the
of video
time.
games.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't play a lot of video games anymore. I spend most of my time learning how to draw and stuff because I don't care. Like that's not me saying that the games that I like are actually bad. That's just me like I like this game, I like that game, but I'm gonna do something other than play a video game. That's just me. Just just trying to learn skills,
Hmm?
getting art commissions and
Exactly.
stuff, not playing video
Which
games all the time.
exactly. Again, so I'm hoping that you understand now why I was so hard on Bomb. Because you see the value of real life over video games. You see the importance of getting an education. You see the importance of getting employment, earning money, being an
Being an adult, yeah, but again, I'm only gonna say it like another time because I really don't want to keep wasting your time. But like I just don't think that's not what I got out of the video when he said that. I didn't get that. And your stance that he definitely implied it. I understand that, but I feel like if I made a response video to Bomb Fetty, it would be way different. I wouldn't have shat on him, dude. And the only reason why I shat on you is because you kind of came at me with an attitude, and that kind of triggered me. I activated the salt mines, and I didn't particularly like that. But
okay.
that's it, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. Like we already talked about the playground insults, so no, I don't need to
Uh,
cover that again.
so so is there anything else, man? Anything else I can help you with? Anything?
Anything else? I legit don't really care about Subverse. You can like that game if you want. If I actually play porn games that have porn
What?
in it. What?
Where is this coming from?
Well,
Subverse?
I'm looking over things to talk about. It's like, do I want to ask about Subverse and why I should check out Bardock's Black or however you pronounce her name? And I just realized I don't actually care about that.
It's French. It's French. Bordeaux. Bordeaux. It's French.
Okay, but like, look, I'll believe it when I see it. Are we gonna get the dildo spaceships or not? Like, I'd rather just play games about
What?
fucking. I don't really, I don't really care about Subverse, so I wasn't gonna ask about that.
Oh, I never asked if you were going to ask
Well, you
about
said,
what the.
what else do you want to talk about? It's like, well,
Yes.
I'm just thinking
So
about
you
things to talk about.
okay. That just seemed like so out of left field.
Because, well, I mean, I talk about it in the video. I chastise you for it. So,
I know, and that was very strange and bizarre.
well, I mean,
It made
because like
absolutely.
pushing that is kind of tacky, and it to me kind of implies that you didn't like my sexualized character design video because you're just like, oh, this guy is shitting on my sexualized
No,
design.
no.
Like I don't know. Felt
No,
like you
because
got a
Subverse is
misunderstanding.
important against the. No, Subverse is important for the battle against censorship.
Oh, okay. That's something that's interesting to talk about. I didn't know you believed that. I now I'm interested. You've activated my salt mines. I care now. All right, so I want to hear about why is Subverse important against for the battle against censorship.
One, like Subverse, like it's adult rated game, but it's not just adult rated for the sake of sex. It's going to have explicit sex, but it's also going to have a narrative, dialogue, branching choices. Like it's a full fledged video game. It's a full fledged video game in the same vein of something like an RPG, like I don't know
Are we
if you played
comparing it to
Divinity,
Mass
Original
Effect?
Sin.
I haven't
Yeah,
played
Mass
Divinity.
Effect. Okay, but yeah, but well, yeah. But, point is, it's a full fledged video game that you can enjoy like any other, but it contains like X-rated adult content, and that is massively taboo in the industry. And we don't see other people attempting this because of the vast amounts of censorship from like elderly, out of touch boomers. Like game developers are not allowed to explore more adult themes and topics because of censorship, because of like curmudgeonry. I'm not sure what the terminology is, but I'm hoping you have a grasp of what I'm talking about. Is video game developers are limited in the stories they can tell and the games they can make out of fear of being censored. Like, oh, you're not allowed to have nudity, you're not allowed to have sex, you're not allowed to talk about adult topics and make adult crude jokes, stuff like that. You can't say that, you can't do that, you can't make the art you want to make. And Subverse is a giant middle finger in that because it's completely crowdfunded and there's nothing these big corporations can do to censor.
Well, I mean, that's not entirely true because of things like the ESRB and having to sell games in stores. You know, we used to have the AO rating. We used to get games like, what was it, Lola
Ah,
3D.
Steam, the ESRB is not required to play the game though, like because via Steam's policies and how they publish and sell games.
Well,
Like
I
they can
mean, yeah, we
completely.
sell games on Steam now. I'm just saying in general, like what we used to do, we do used to get some adult games and stuff, but because of game distribution at the time, we couldn't just sell you Lola 3D in a store. There was actually like that's why we don't get the AO rating anymore because that actually made it difficult for companies to actually sell a game, which is kind of what you're talking about with the censorship, right? But like it was due to how the game was how do you expect it to purchase it? But through digital distribution and crowdfunding, yeah, a game like Subverse is able to exist. But the reason why developers weren't doing it before isn't just because of the threat of censorship. It's just like, dude, you couldn't sell the fucking game. It was too taboo. There were too many restrictions. Though I guess that's not entirely true because we buy M-rated games. Well, so here's my fake ID, sir. It's like, all right, here's your copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. But it's like you just couldn't sell those games, and I don't know about how it was in Japan, but we do have Opus Slider, we do have Artificial Girl, but that's not really the same as walking into a store and buying a game that has explicit sex scenes in it. So if they're going to make a game like Subverse, they have to sell it to you through Steam. That Wild West platform that doesn't give a flying fuck if your game is a rootkit in or not. That's the only way. That's why you don't see that a lot in
Yes.
gaming because they can't really get away with it in a GameStop.
Yes, because of like old school mentality. Because of this like this out of date, out of touch mentality, and this constricting view of what games can be, what they should be, and what.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily describe it like that, but I think we're more or less in agreement on that stance. As far as not just allowing the game with the dick lace to exist. I'm not particularly interested in it, but it's not like I'm saying we need to ban it or anything. I just kind of feel like. I don't know, when we start trying to just do stuff to take the piss out of social justice, I kind of feel like this being made in bad faith. It's kind of like why I'm not super excited about Racing Golden Eagles Blade Devil project because it's just kind of like, I
Who?
like I trust that you're gonna tell a good story. I hope, but it kind of just feels like
Wait, sorry. I don't know what you're
but
reference.
he's
I
a
don't know what you're.
YouTuber, Raging Golden Eagle. You might agree with him on
Oh,
some
okay.
stuff. Maybe I don't know because like he's anti-feminist. You might like him. He just came out with a comic, Blade Devil. I wasn't gonna like buy it or anything, but I mean, I'm not gonna just shit on it without any evidence before I like read it. I just wasn't particularly interested because I feel like it was made more to like trigger the libs, own the libs, that fucking mundane Matt quote, right? I feel like it was made to do that more so than tell an actual fucking story. But I want to also give him a fair shot and not just assume things about him. just because I'm not particularly interested in that comic, especially since I'm subscribed to him. I watch his stuff. I like his content. I'm just kind of iffy about whether or not Blade Devil is actually good. Also, I mean, there's a lot of hype behind interspecies reviewers, and they're kind of like interspecies reviewers is pushing the limits on ecchi. It's so good. And it's kind of like, is it good because you empty your balls to it, or is it good because it's actually good? And it's just kind of like, I don't know. That it feels like we're hyping stuff up as revolutionary instead of just admitting we want to just chronically masturbate. And excuse me for being a little cynical, because that the reaction I got to my video about those designs kind of just confirmed that for me. It's like you guys are not talking about story, and it just makes me feel like it doesn't matter. I just want titty. I say that, but I draw porn. So I guess do as I say, not as I do. I should draw more stuff that isn't porn. It's just that I've been focusing a lot on anatomy, and porn helps me learn anatomy and stuff because you draw a lot of naked ladies. But it's like, holy shit, I don't know. This feels disingenuous, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right. That was a tangent. Okay.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I need to get better at doing that because if I can't even make tangents in actual conversation without it sounding bad, then it probably means that I
I
really
didn't
need
say
to.
that. I'm not. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying it was just kind of like I'm at a loss for words because, like, okay, that didn't have much to do with what I was talking about. Not
Well,
sure
because
what I
we're
can
talking
add.
about subverse and like I was just talking about how like why I don't really feel like
Yeah, but
subverse is.
you just referenced a ton of things that I have no knowledge on. I can't make a comment
Oh
on it
well.
because I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I guess I should probably make a note not to reference so many obscure things. But yeah, so like we wouldn't have gotten a game like that years ago. But I don't really feel like it's an issue of people having like backwards thinking mentalities. It's an issue of you how because you can't just sell that game. So now we can, and now we're gonna make this game about dildos and stuff and make it into an actual game. But it's kind of like, well, I mean, if you cared about that, why aren't you playing Honey Select? I even learned how to put mods into Honey Select so I can get giant titties in it. Like, do I
Wait, are we
really
talking?
care
Are we
about?
talking about? Are we talking about the developers or the consumers?
I guess kind of the consumers. Well, I don't really know about the developers. I don't want to make any radical statements about the developers while looking into it, but it does kind of feel like the game just kind of exists to take the piss. I haven't seen any gameplay of it. And is there any gameplay footage of the game like that I can see? Because
Subverse?
yeah, are there any like is it on the Steam page or because I
Early,
didn't see it.
they have early beta. Some like from their beta testers were allowed to upload of the shoot 'em up gameplay because it's free separate gameplay sections. It's going to have like the dialogue talking to characters part of the gameplay. It's going to have shoot 'em up spaceship gameplay and finally turn based RPG gameplay similar to stuff
Holy
like well
shit,
again
that doesn't sound good. That sounds like a lot of stuff. How big is the studio?
the studio. Wait, how does that not sound good? It's having
It
different like
because
gameplays.
it sounds a little too big. I know because I've been on indie
Uh,
game projects that turned into vaporware. So my indie dev spider sense tingles whenever people talk about multiple game modes. Because I'm just
Dude,
like, dude, make a game that you can
but
finish, please.
it is they've been very transparent with the development and how things interact and whatnot. Like you haven't seen the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Kickstarter. I'm not gonna pretend
Well,
like
there
I
we
know
go.
everything about the game. That's why I'm asking you about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's a newly developed team. They are bringing like more people to work on it. I don't know the exact number of people. It's definitely like I'd say we're getting close to the size of like a double A. Let's say a double A team.
Okay, a double A team. That's a little more reassuring because I was just worried. It's like I was worried that this is going to be an issue where they bite off too much that they can chew, and then it's going to be like, damn, dude. But yeah.
Yeah. That's the. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh, holy shit! It's 12:30. We totally lost track of time. Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Oh well, I mean, I guess that's more or less it with Well, actually, no, I kind of didn't. I think I just need to wrap up the topic about the revolutionary thing. So it's going to be revolutionary for game censorship. We asked about how. We talked about how they're going to put a whole bunch of stuff in that push the boundaries of what a game can be. I guess my problem is that I'm just not really understanding how that makes a difference or why I should care. Like I already have Honey Select. It's a porn game.
Because it gives game developers like it sets a precedent that more game developers can experiment with more adult themes. They can tell more adult stories, and they don't need to be afraid to put sex in their game, to put more difficult topics, like more darker topics in their games. And it's okay not to tell it's okay to tell more crude jokes. Like again, like just being able, just giving developers more freedom to say and do what they want to say and not be
Um,
beholden to outrage mobs or corporation.
I mean, I guess that's technically true. I don't have any corporation trying to stop me from drawing my titty porn, and I don't have any corporation trying to stop me from my indie games or my web comic that I'm trying to get ready to launch or anything. I got nobody stop me from doing that. It's just that I don't know. I guess my thing is that I don't feel like putting sex in a game it necessarily makes it adult. I guess it depends on your definition of adult. When I think adult, I mean mature, not just it's got sex in it, right? Because that's just kind of different definitions of adult. And
Okay. If we have a problem with the semantics here, what a game? Oh, if we're sorry, if we're having a problem with semantics here, what word would you prefer? Well, like if it's not, if just having sex in a game is not adult, what would you,
um,
explicit? Would you prefer explicit?
I guess explicit content, but like explicit content for the sake of explicit content kind of
No,
rubs
no,
me
no, no,
up
no,
the
no,
wrong
no,
way.
not just for the sake of it. For the artist, for the developer to be able to fulfill their creative vision. Like this is the game I want to make, and no one's telling me no, you can't make that. You're immoral. You're disgusting. Stuff like that.
I mean, I understand. Like, I'm not saying don't make it. I guess, like, just for me personally, I'd have to ask them. I have to walk up to the developers behind Subverse and ask them just outright, like, why did you want to make this particular game? Like, what is the actual motivation behind that? I guess that's my thing.
Wait. What's the problem if they just want to do it? What's the matter with like, hey,
There's no
I just
particular
wanted to.
problem with it. It's just kind of just rubs me. I mean, like, if they just want to make a porn game, it's like, all right, that's cool. I don't have any philosophical reasoning behind any of the smut that I draw, right? So it would be hypocritical for me to expect that. But I don't look at that and think this is going to revolutionize everything. Oh, wow, DeviantArt is revolutionizing art. It kind of feels like we're saying that. It just comes off as weird to me. It's probably just, I don't know, probably just me, but it comes off as just overhyping something as being revolutionary in a world where Opus Slider exists and people mod their own porn games all the fucking time. And it's just like, what's special about this
Ooh,
game?
that.
Because it's because of it's expanding the type of game. It's a double A game with porn in it. I don't even know if the spaceship combat is good, and I'm supposed to care about the sex. The boobs are even small. They're not even big. They're not even bigger than Chelsea China. I don't care. It's like I don't know. Like I'm not all that impressed by that premise. But that's going back to fun being subjective and not every game being for everybody.
Uh,
So I can accept
uh,
that.
fair. Fair. Yeah. I'm not sure what else to add to that. Like, if that's the way you feel, I can't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to not make videos about it. It just kind of felt off. Like we're really pushing that game. But if you feel that way about it, and that's how you
Well,
feel about it, you're passionate about it.
also my friends are in the game. Friends are
Oh,
in the
you have
game.
friends who are in the game. I didn't know those people were your
Yes.
friends or not.
Well, who do you think I've been interviewing? Random strangers? No, I've been interviewing my friends. My friends are voice actors and actors.
Well, hold on now. If those people were random people, it would be a little more impressive because you got them to do, interviews with you, not just your friends. Because
Oh, okay. Not all of them were friends beforehand. Some of them, like I met them through context. We had the interview, became friends after.
all right, I mean, that's cool
Not
too.
every single one.
That's fine. I mean, but I don't know. But just saying that they're your friends, kind of like, ugh. Okay, well, that's kind of an
Wait,
in-group thing.
ugh? What's
I don't know. That's
what's wrong with
teetering
that?
into that's just teetering into nepotism. But I mean, I'm not saying that that's like a
Nepotism? How?
I don't know, maybe that was too strong of a word, but it's kind of like, you
How
know,
is supporting your friends nepotism?
ugh. Well, I did just say maybe that was too strong of a word, but it's like you reviewing people who are working on the game and those people being your friends, and you hyping up the
I
game and stuff like it.
disclosed this. I
I'm not
disclosed
saying you
this.
didn't disclose it. I didn't watch those videos, so I wouldn't know that because I don't care about subverse. So that's perfectly
Uh-huh.
fine, right? But just you telling
Yeah,
me
but I'm
that
missing
is kind of like,
I'm missing
it
the
makes me
problem
care a
here.
little.
What do you take issue with?
It just kind of makes it doesn't seem so grandiose when you say it like that. It kind of just makes it seem like, all right, that's just a game that kind of exists, and you talk about these people in this game a lot because you know them personally, which would explain the sexy voice actor streams and shit because they're just your friends. Like, all right, I mean, you can do streams with your friends, but like it's a little less impressive. It'd be like if I got
What
yeah,
they are, but they're impressive people. They're impressive people. They're awesome people. They work so fucking hard and they're so incredibly talented. I don't see how it's any less impressive. My relationship with them it, like devalues their impressiveness.
I didn't say it devalued their impressiveness, so I'd have to know. I'd
But
have to
you
interact with.
just said it was less impressive.
No, it
You
makes the
just said
interviews
that it's not as
themselves
impressive.
seem less impressive. Like you didn't get somebody with a profile to notice you. This is somebody that knows you, right? It's kind of like
I,
that.
After the fact, for most of them after the fact, and I like through contacts, like my friends got me in contact with them. Like again, I'm sorry, I'm just missing. I'm missing like what the issue.
I mean, issue is kind of a strong word. It's just not doesn't really seem all that grandiose. Doesn't really seem all that great. It just seems like okay, you're just talking to people that you know. So all right, that explains the Sonic Lewd
And you
image and
don't
all
know,
that.
and you don't know cool people. You don't know impressive.
I mean, I guess I can say I know people who are cool, but I guess it also depends on your definition of impressive. I mean, if I knew somebody who made a game or worked on a game or something, I guess I consider that it's kind of impressive, like you're doing right now.
It
Maybe I
is.
don't
It
know.
is. It is. Not everyone has that skill. Not everyone has that skill set. Like game development is an absolutely impressive. It takes a lot of work and dedication and know-how, especially into coding, which like, is an alien language to me.
It's not that hard. People over exaggerate how hard it is.
Well, it's you say that, but you're like you even admit that you take study, that you've invested a great deal of time and mental energy in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying any other person can do it, but like when you say it's an alien language, it's like there's a lot of commonality between languages. I guess that I say that as someone who goes to college for that. So I mean, I guess you could take that with a grain of salt. But like I don't really think that. I think more like when you have 10-year-olds learning how to code and Loa and shit. It's like it's more of an issue of bothering to sit down and understand it, not necessarily of it being impossible to understand. You know,
I
but
never said it was impossible to understand. It is like a great challenge for a lot of people. There's some people like, hey, I just don't have the know-how. I don't have the mental fortitude to like sit down and memorize all this and whatnot.
that's
Same thing
fine.
with learning different languages. Like I know a little bit of French, but there's some people who can speak French masterfully, and it's only their second language. Stuff like that. Like being able to memorize and being able to utilize massive amounts of varying information is important.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You know, but I don't know. Think think I might want to move on to battle board. You did the video about what's bad about bad board. I figured it wouldn't be entirely fair if we didn't talk about that. I want to try to address all the stuff I talked about in the video so I can be as fair as possible. Why are you defending
Oh,
battle board, my
we
dude?
can because like a lot of hardworking people worked on that game, and it's about to go like all that money and time is about to go to.
Yeah, because it was a bad game. It
It wasn't a
flopped.
bad game. It was not a bad. Oh, wait, are we talking about sales wise? Are we talking about like if we're talking? Are we talking about quality? Or are we talking about?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we're not really talking about quality. We're talking about sales. Right? Maybe I shouldn't say it's a bad game because I wouldn't tell you because then
Oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't buy it
yeah.
all the time.
It
But it
absolutely
definitely
flopped in
flopped.
that
Yeah,
regard.
so
It
like it's a
absolutely
money
flopped.
sink. So when you talk about like, oh, it's sad they're bringing the servers, like they have to take the servers down, dude. Like they can't just keep
No, they
pumping money
don't.
into it.
No, they do not. No, they don't. They don't need to like. They don't need to like completely remove the game from existence. Do you know what peer-to-peer network?
I know what peer-to-peer internet networking whatever stuff is. Obviously, I don't
Wait, what?
understand it that well because I don't understand the fucking name. But like, I know what you're saying, like peer-to-peer networks. But it's like, well, why should they
It
do that
doesn't
at their
cost it.
expense?
It
It doesn't
costs
cost.
no money, dude. It costs little to no money. They could easily let the game exist forever. They genuinely just have to press a few buttons, input a few pieces of code. They could have someone do that in an afternoon. An actual game developer told me this in my comments section. This costs little to no money, and it doesn't take that much time.
Oh boy, I must have
2K,
been
for
lied
some
to.
reason.
I must have been lied to because that it cost them no money, so they just don't care. Wow, I didn't know they were that fucking
Exactly.
scummy. They just
That
don't
that
even
that's that
care.
That's the point I'm making about 2K. Like they're doing this now to Battleborn. It's Battleborn now. What about your next favorite game? This is such a dangerous precedent that they're just deleting a game from existence for no good fucking reason.
Well, I
They
mean,
don't need to do this. They're like I understand like taking the like I agree that taking down the dedicated servers like yeah, they're wasting money on dedicated servers. There's no need for it. There's not enough players paying. So just switch it to peer to peer. Just switch it from dedicated to peer to peer. Games have done that before. Like the whole like For Honor. You know the game For Honor?
yeah, I know about For Honor.
Yeah, the whole reason that game took so long to get dedicated servers is because it cost money and they launched it with peer-to-peer. People said, like, no, this isn't working. The connections are too bad. There's too many hackers. So, like, okay, we need to sink more money into this game. And like, and now it's like it's turned around for them. But here's the thing about For Honor. For Honor, like, unlike Battleborn, like they don't need to take this. Like, they can turn the dedicated servers off, but they can just switch back to the peer-to-peer networking they had before. So the game will always live on. Yeah, the connection may be worse down the line when the dedicateds are gone. Yes, if Battleborn no longer has dedicated servers, like there'd be more lag and some hackers and stuff like that, but the game would still be playable.
You
The game
still
would still
have
be
to
playable
build
because
the
keep in mind.
servers, right? I mean, I don't know if it's just pressing some switches. Like game development isn't clicking a bunch of switches. It's a
I
little more
know,
than
I know,
that.
I know, I know, I know, I know that. I'm well aware of that. I'm again dedicated servers, peer-to-peer networking, two very different.
It's
One is
also the
cheap and an indie developer. There's so many indie multiplayer games out there, and the reason there are is because they use peer to peer. It's why indie games have multiplayer because they use peer to peer.
well, I mean, I know how games like in Game Maker Studio are designed to implement net play like what was it Rivals of Ether. I know how that works. It's just they can't. I don't know if they have to like break down the code or anything to even re-implement that. Like
No, no, they don't. They don't do. This is Gearbox. They've made Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Borderlands. They know how to do this. They know how to create a game that doesn't require dedicated servers but has fully functional multiplayer. They know how to do
yeah, but
this.
did those games
They've
have
done
it
it
on
before.
launch or after the fact? Did they add that after the fact or?
Are we talking about peer to peer or dedicated
Yeah,
server?
the peer to peer. When they had the peer to peer, was it on
Yes, they
launch?
had that launch. That's all they've ever
Yeah,
been.
that
Borderlands
might
has
be
always
part
been
of the
peer.
problem is that they have to implement peer to peer after the fact, and however the game is coded, it might not just be as easy as doing that. I mean, I know you said a game developer said that, and he's an actual game developer and not an aspiring game designer like me. So he would know more about it than me if he actually works in the industry. But I would think that once you actually finish the application you can't just make radical changes to it after the fact, regards to how it operates its servers without changing large chunks of code. It really depends on how it references information.
You like it would take changes. Don't I'm not taking one. It would take a wee bit of money to pay an employee, but this is 2K we're talking about. They have more money than God. This wouldn't be like a massive expense for them. This wouldn't like if anything it would save them more money because people could still buy Battleborn in the future. People buy, "Oh, this game's super cheap. I'll pick it up. Oh, its multiplayer is totally free. I'll play the free multiplayer."
Look, it's still an expense, and that's likely the
Unexpe-
motivation.
a barely noticeable expense compared to the massive amount of revenue they.
I think that's where we differ on on the levels of cynicism towards this industry, because I look at this as them not giving a fuck about this dead ass
Oh
game.
yeah,
You know,
I'm well aware they don't give a fuck. I am well aware they give a fuck. But like as a businessman, it makes no sense to waste all that fucking money and time. You have a product that you can still sell. You have a product that you can still sell. You don't need to scrap it. It can last for eternity. You don't need to remove it from existence. Like, okay, like, oh, I'll just pay you. You take care of this. Okay, so there, all that money and time we spent making this product didn't go to waste.
I mean, maybe you could put in the peer-to-peer servers, and maybe that would work, but I need to know how the implementation of the peer-to-peer servers works, so I have to talk to somebody who knows how networking works to confirm that that's even possible in this game's
It
code.
is, dude. It is, dude. We've had several examples of games that launched with dedicated servers and switched to peer and vice versa. It's happened before. It's happened with excuse me. It happened with games like Evolve. It happened with For Honor. It's happened with several older multiplayer games. I believe Crisis. I think Crisis multiplayer. Was it? I know. No.
Wait,
Crisis
Evolve,
2
that
had
was another bomb. I forgot about Evolve. I actually have that game on here. I just never played it. Somebody got it for me. It's kind of like, I never asked for this.
Oh, it's totally playable single player, by the way. If you got the Legacy Edition, like before it went free to play, like it's totally playable single player. You can literally unlock everything. Also, they disabled microtransactions and just gave away all the skins for free.
All right, so I guess it's just an issue of 2K sucking dick. I mean, look, I
They do suck dick.
still stand by what I said about it because, like I said, what happened to Battleborn is predictable because the game is losing money. But I think that's the difference. Like you're talking about how they could do this stuff to save the game, and I'm looking at it as like,
And
why would you
well,
even
also
expect them to do that?
but also historical preservation. Like I'm sure, I would hope you care about the historical preservation of the art.
Well, yeah, I have emulators for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about Battleborn, though. You won't be able to fucking emulate this. It's gonna be fucking gone.
They
Like,
don't
this
care.
art is going to be lost.
They
This
don't.
art
They
is going to be lost.
Thanos games all the time. Like
And
that.
that doesn't make it right, just because it happens all the time. That doesn't make
Yeah, it's not right.
it
It's
right.
not okay. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it go away. But you know what? They don't care about the consumer. They don't care about you. They're just going to
I
take the game
know that.
away from you.
I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that. I'm still going to make the argument. I'm still going to say, hey, this is happening. Not much we can do, but hey, perhaps we can make a change. Like, because this can make a change. This
I
can make
mean,
a
I
change.
can make
Like,
a
for one,
video
someone could.
complaining about microtransactions, knowing that it's not going to
No,
make
I'm
an
saying
impact.
unlike microtransactions, someone could start a Kickfunder, or go or a Kickstarter. Why can't I say this? A Kickstarter, a GoFundMe. This could be fan funded. Someone could say, "Okay, 2K, you don't want to pay for switching to peer-to-peer. We can." Like, there, unlike microtransactions, there is an actual chance, there's an actual possibility that the community could come together and salvage the game in some way.
Are they
That is an
doing that?
actual feasible. Unfortunately, no, but it is a feasible
It's
option.
kind of like nobody gives a
Feasible.
shit.
Yeah, there is a small subset of the community, and there's, like, you could see some people in my comments. But, like, yeah, I would say the overall majority of people don't care, which is a damn shame. But I said my piece. I made an effort. I did what I.
I mean, there was Rising Thunder Community Edition. Fans kept Rising Thunder of all things alive. Maybe they'll do it for Battleborn, but generally speaking, when a game comes out, it flops. Expecting it to be kept alive to me just feels kind of naive. Like I watched that video and it just kind of came up as like
Well, dude,
I
there's
don't think
so
you've
many
been
ways. There's
jaded on the business aspect of this industry hard enough.
dude, but it makes no sense logically. It makes no sense logically, even from a businessman perspective, because Battleborn can be completely played single player. It has a single player campaign. It has a totally single player campaign that doesn't require internet. So the fact that that is being removed as well, that doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
how is it
It
being
doesn't make
removed
any sense.
unless it requires some kind of online access? That doesn't.
I know it. I know it doesn't need to require online access, though. It doesn't need to, though. That's the silly thing.
So if I have the disc and the game's online is discontinued, can I still play the single player with the disc?
Of Battleborn?
Yeah.
No, you can't. That's what's so retarded about.
That means it has to require online in some kind of way. All because you can play a game offline, quote, in air quotes, doesn't actually mean it's offline. Just like the story mode in
I know, but that's
MK11 is attached to online play because they don't want you cheating in the game.
I'm well aware of that. But the fact is the possibility, the design is there that it can be played offline, that it
I
has
would
a
have
single
to
player
go into
campaign.
the
They don't need.
game's code and rearrange how the game was encoded. And with all
I
the
know.
fucking nested arguments that are in there, all the fucking if else statements to check for online requirements and all this shit, you want them to go in there and change what has to be like thousands of different codes, thousands of different classes, and all this other libraries and shit just to enable the game to be played offline. No wonder they're just pulling the plug on that shit. You basically have to remake the game.
Ooh, that's a huge statement there, man. That now we're talking about like we don't know like how deep the online goes.
I don't know how deep it goes either, but I've coded applications before, so I can tell you that even the most simple application can have 5 different fucking classes in it, and they all make references to each other, and you got enumerations here and calls there, and
I
this
know
read
that.
strings and all this other shit. It's
I
like,
know
oh
all
wait,
that. I know all that. I know all that. And if this was an indie dev, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's a lot of time and money you can't afford. You're an indie dev. This is a huge ordeal. Totally get that. This isn't an indie developer. This isn't an indie developer. They have no such excuse.
yeah, but they don't care. These companies don't
I
become
know they don't
multi-billion
care.
dollar companies by giving a
I
shit.
know they don't care. I know they don't care.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I think overall we're in agreement. I think the difference is that I'm more pessimistic about it, where you're kind of like holding out hope for like, maybe they could salvage the game, but I knew
Oh,
that game had
I'm
no
not
hope.
holding out. I'm not holding out hope. It's probably going to disappear, and that sucks. But that doesn't mean I don't take issue with it. That doesn't mean I'm not morally opposed to it. It's why I'm never buying another 2K game ever again.
I mean, I would have been stopped doing that, but yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you say it's unacceptable, I say it's predictable. That always happens. I don't know. I guess I'm an old fogey.
Hmm.
I accept the fact that I'm going on 30 over here. A little too old for be playing these fucking vigi games. Oy vey.
You're never too old to play video games in modern.
I don't know. I mean, I understand that, but my opinion, I kind of think so. I kind of think you can be too old for video games. Not like never play video games again,
What?
but
So even like M-rated mature, even M-rated mature like bloody gory horror games like that. That's
well, I don't consider that mature. We already talked about that, but yes, yes, I do believe that. At some point, you
oh, okay.
probably just
So
shouldn't be
can we?
playing video
Well,
games.
so is there a point where we shouldn't watch movies?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really watch movies already, so that's kind of like that's something I don't really care about. Like I say this as somebody who actually cares about video
Oh,
games. That like
wait. Wait. What do you do for entertainment? Do you read books?
I draw.
Oh, okay. So
I
you find entertainment in the arts. You find entertainment like in doing something more productive instead of like consuming. You find more. Oh, you find more entertainment in creation, not consumption.
yeah. I work on art. I'm trying to figure out how to make music. I'm trying to figure out how to make my own game. I work on my own
Good
stuff.
for you. Good for you, man. Good for you.
But yeah. So there was that, and want to say that's a kind of it. We got the K-On! Picture. Already talked about that. I don't think I need to make any. Oh, I feel it's funny how there's all these anime pictures in there, but you don't like animes. I guess that's more
Yeah,
clickbait.
it's irony.
It's
It's funny.
ironic.
It's a joke in my community. It's ironic.
Okay, in group. So that's always nice. I mean, I make a whole bunch of obscure references. I make references to old Flash cartoons people probably don't even remember. The Happy Birthday song, I cringed like hell, but that was like months ago. That was one of the first videos I watched when I refound your channel, and it showed back up in my algorithm because the algorithm wants to be, wants to be stupid. But saw that, saw all the loot stuff. It's kind of like, that's fine, but I'm just don't care. So that was more just indifference. Did I watch the one about a measured critique about video game developers? I mean, I don't know. I guess just Just give me the summation of that. I kind of feel like that's covered. I've covered most of my complaints. So what was the measure critique of video game developers? Are you just telling us to be more realistic, like just be more like in perspective of how the games are made? Like I'm actually confused by that.
One sec. Let me. Did you watch the video?
No, but I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
so you're
only
just
like
going
12
off the
minutes.
time.
I kind of was just asking for a summation because I was just kind of
Let me
curious.
see. I need to jog my memory. I need to jog my memory. What you? I've made a lot of videos, dude. Which video is this? Can I get? Hello?
Yeah, measure critique of video games, video game
How
developers
many
with
months?
context. That was 7 months ago.
7 months. 7 months. Okay, let me take a look here. Oh fuck! Looking at the thumbnail here, I don't remember. I do not remember the premise of that video.
I guess it's not the most important thing in the world. If I really gave a shit, I would just watch it. Obviously, I don't give that much of a shit. All right, so let me just check back over here real quick. Let me just wait. This my computer's going here and here with these pop-ups. What the fuck? There we go. I just want to bug out. I mean, you're at the tail end, so I want to bug out at the end. That will be cool, right? Can I bug out? All right, so.
What? What are you talking about? I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
No, I was just talking about my shitty ass computer. Um. Oh yeah, do you know about Ren's reviews?
I do.
You know he made that video about Control, and he's like, finally a AAA game that isn't shit. And it's kind of like, the fact that that's even a meme is like, holy hell. We consider and be like, yeah, I expect AAA games to be bad. I guess that's just covering old ground, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess I felt like just emphasizing that real quick because I forgot about that. I
You
haven't
wait.
watched that video
Wait. You
either.
mean Ren? You mean Ren's reviews? The liar and coward who was completely destroyed on a mall.
Oh, okay. There was a video about Ren's reviews too. So you're just killing all my favorite YouTubers. You already killed my god Joseph Anderson. So I gotta listen to Jonah Anderson get murdered. You might as well just link me to the Ren's review. I just found Ren's reviews like 2 months ago, and now you're gonna
Oh,
kill
he's
him
such
too. Kill him,
he's such.
just killing them
Oh, he's
all.
also he's also an animal abuser.
Oh, an animal abuser. No,
Oh yeah. There's a video. He has a Destiny video where he's like manhandling his dog and obviously
I could have sworn I watched one video he did about Destiny, but I don't remember him
it's the
manhandling.
one where it's one where he like he's made several. It's the one where he talks about the Warmind DLC for Destiny 2. In it, he's like grabbing onto his fucking dog, and the dog is obviously scared and in pain, and he noticed it afterwards, and he thought it was a good idea to put that in the video of him obviously like holding his dog down in a way that's hurting.
I'd have to see that because I saw the video where he tricked the dog into like coming through the door, right? So like she takes he takes the dog. He has her come up to him, close the door on her, and it's just like there, I tricked the dog, stupid dog. I saw that one. His dog actually died. From what I heard in one of his recent videos, which is pretty sad. I think she got sick with like cancer or something. That was pretty bad. Um,
Wish she had a better life of him not a she passed, but what can you?
Well, I mean, that one clip of him doing that, like, I have to see the clip to really understand that. But like, I mean,
Well,
okay,
dude, the fact that he put that in a video and he thought that was okay. He thought like, I'm just going to hold my dog down and force it to try and play with a controller. I'm gonna grab its arms and force it to play with a controller to make a bad joke. Like it's obviously squealing in pain and fear, and I don't care. And I'm gonna upload that to YouTube. Ooh, he doesn't. And based on his debate with Mahler, he doesn't strike me as a bright.
oh, he actually had a debate with Mahler, so he actually gets in on it. Our favorite little boy Ren actually gets in on the debate. Oh, now I have to see it. I don't know
He
if
made a
I don't.
terrible. He made a terrible move that he got called out on, and then he deleted it after he got.
Well, shit. Now I guess I gotta watch more Mahler videos. Now I wasn't against watching Mahler. I kind of just saw him in my feed, and it's kind of okay. He talks about movies, but there's a lot of. I think I've listened to one or two of those podcasts before because Rags was in it. 'Cause I used to follow Rags. I mean, I don't hate him. It's just like I kind of just wash my hands of all the YouTube feminism, anti-feminist drama, especially after the whole Candid incident. I kind of just walked away from it. Didn't make any more videos about
The
it.
what?
Candid,
Candid?
yeah,
Who's
when everyone
Candid?
sold themselves out for the Candid app, there was this social media app where it's supposed to be like a free speech app, and it turns out that it was like had a bot and everything for it, and it's kind of partially people think that it's responsible for the YouTube bots we have to deal with nowadays because they kind of just fed this algorithm a whole bunch of data and didn't turn out too hot. I'd have to refresh my
Never
memory.
heard of it. Never heard of it.
Yes, a lot of people shilled it, and I only know about it because the people I was watching at that time were talking about it. Shoe on Head would talk about it. I don't really watch my mundane Matt. I never hated him, but I always kind of felt like he was mundane for a reason. But Harmful Opinions was the only person who like called them out on it, and they kind of turned on Harmful Opinions when they talked about Candid and Harmful Opinions. I think he talked to one of the CEOs or whatever at Candid, but there was this meme going around. Harmful Opinions is God, Harmful Opinions is God, Harmful Opinions is God, because she just said that 3 times in a row. That was funny. But yeah, that was a whole big scandal, and it just said to me that the whole freedom of speech, like the whole anti-social justice warrior movement on YouTube, was kind of like, you guys need the feminists just as much as they need you to just have this parasitic relationship. You're just making money off of drama. I just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I'm still subscribed to Sargon though. I just don't really watch a lot of his videos because it's mostly out of indifference. I still watch Louis Levi because he talks about because he's even more pessimistic than me about video games. You can believe it. And he talks about how games are shit, and he only wants to play visual novel games. He has no interest in the Japanese market. So I don't even think I could get through to him because I couldn't convince him to play by indie games because he's like indie games are shit. Um, but
Doesn't sound like a very reasonable.
he can get a lot of loud and angry in a lot of his videos. I don't know why he's so fucking angry all the time, but I still listen to him. I also listen to people who shit on him. Like I don't have a problem with having a diverse set of opinions. I'll be subscribed to one dude, and the other dude I'm subscribed to hates the other dude. Well, I draw the line at people fucking with me directly. That's the only problem I had. You know, I don't actually care if people have opposing viewpoints. That's why I actually want to listen to this Mahler stuff. I'm genuinely curious to hear Mahler's take on it. But yeah.
Oh boy, you're in for a ride.
Oh, hey, Vay. Well, I got more than enough time. It's still spring break. I still have time to waste. So I can do that. Actually, I can listen to that while I'm drawing my porn. So I have them to listen to. All right, so there's that. Oh, boy, I didn't know about Ren's reviews. Um, what else? Already talked about that games. Talked about the memes. This is just All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, so I guess it's kind of the only other question I can think of, trying to stay on topic and everything, and not waste everybody's time even more because it's getting late. So, would you say that like channels like Ren's Reviews or B Dobbins or whatever, or Bombfetti or even the Ackman, would you say that those channels are like harmful in some kind of way, or that like some kind of inherent negative to gaming, or like what's your take on what's that type of YouTuber in general?
I think it all just depends on the context, on what they. People can have whatever opinions they want, but if you're spreading misinformation and down and outright lies that are like if you're just spreading stuff that is not factual, then I'm going to take issue with that. It does I don't care about your opinion. You can have whatever opinion you want, but when you say stuff that is objectively false, that is a lie, that is not true, that is not reality, then I'll take issue with that. Simple as that. I don't care. I don't care about the channel's theme or opinions. If they're not happy with the state of gaming, that is totally fine. You're allowed to feel however you feel. But when you start spreading lies, then I'm going to take it.
All right, I guess that seems more or less fair, but I guess that's pretty much it. I guess one more question before I send you off into the horizon. So, would you consider yourself to have a problem with me or something? Like, am I really that bad of a guy? Are my takes really that bad, or am I just misunderstood? Because it seems like we agreed on more stuff than one would want to believe. So, I kind of don't feel like I kind of almost feel like that initial reaction, that initial interaction wasn't even warranted.
What initial
I don't know. I mean, you're gonna tell you that I have a bad take on my video, on my
Oh wait,
videos, all that stuff,
the
like the comment
comment?
stuff.
Are we
But
still going on about the comment? We're still going on about the
well,
comment.
I was kind of just wrapping it up because I kind of felt like we moved on from that point. I just kind of wanted to know, like, after talking, like, well, what's our general vibe with each other? Because I didn't hate you when I made the videos, and
Oh,
I don't think I
indifferent.
indifferent indifference. Not even a casual acquaintance. I don't get an associate. I get indifference. Oh, well, oh boy. I guess I didn't make the best impact.
Dude, dude, you went on instead of going out of the way to contact me, you spent 2 hours ranting about straw men and about arguments I never made.
Well, I'm here
How am I
now.
supposed to feel about that, man? I know you're here now. You weren't here earlier.
Well, I
You
already
weren't here
explained
earlier,
that.
though.
We explained that part. I'm just saying, like, like, are we cool or what? I don't hate you, but
Cool. Cool. We're not cool or uncool. Like I said, indifferent.
well, that seems fair and different. I guess I can agree with that. Though I would say that we agreed with more things than I thought we would. You know, you can have your more optimistic view of game. I have my more pessimistic viewing of gaming, and I kind of don't see us really changing our opinions on that. But one day when you get jilted by a really shit game, you'll come to the dark side, and I'll be waiting there, wagging my finger, saying, "I told you so." But oh boy. Well, um, I want to say that's it. Is there any questions you have for me before we wrap it up?
Nope.
No, no
Nope. I'm
interest.
good.
What was your motivation behind the sexual character design video? Nothing. How was that Mortal Kombat video? What about Guilty Gear
I didn't
Strive?
see. I didn't see your Mortal Kombat.
Well, I mean, I knew that. I knew you didn't watch my other videos. Like, I figured you probably wouldn't have said that if you watched the other videos. But all right, I can accept that. I don't know. It sounds like you didn't even actually watch that other video that you commented on. You just kind of base that off of what other people said.
Dude, wait. Are you, your sexualization video?
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that what we talked
Oh,
about
I did
earlier?
watch that. Oh yeah, I did watch that. I did watch that. I don't remember a word you said in it, but I did.
Yeah, you did say that. But look. Well, I mean, I'm gonna watch these Molar videos, and I'm not exactly gonna force your head into the ground and make you rewatch that video. Well, maybe if you
Which
rewatched
video?
it,
Which
maybe if
which
you
one? Which
rewatched my video about Miss Zizi, maybe you'd see that I'm not exactly coming for a puritanical standpoint. But you know, I don't know. The fact that you don't even remember what I said in that video and it's kind of just like a whatever kind of thing. I mean, that adds
dude,
context.
it's been a month. I have like mountains of projects and other people that require my attention. I'm sorry if
I have
a petty
mountains of
argument that
stuff
doesn't.
to do too, and I made time for this debate, and I think overall it went pretty well.
Yes, and I make time for debates as well, man. I make time for debates as well. I debate people. I debate people on a regular basis, but what? Like I said, it's not so I'm not trapped in a fucking echo chamber. It's so that I'm able to like consume other points of view, be aware of the other people around me, and not be surrounded by yes men.
Okay, I mean, so there's that, and then the school antics, the
Like
school antics we
I
talked
hope you
about that. So yeah.
I hope you understand. I hope you understand. I'm not saying. I hope you understand. I'm not telling you to fuck. I hope you understand that I'm not telling you like never contact me again. I hope you understand that's not what I'm saying. I am open for messages and questions and what.
I mean, all right, that's cool. I take it you won't be asking me anything in particular.
Do you want me to ask you something? Is there something going on here, man? If you can ask, if you
No,
want me to
no.
ask
I
you
mean,
something, could
there's
just
nothing in
say.
particular that I want you to ask me about. I was just saying it's kind of like because if that's the case, then this is likely the last time we'll ever interact with each other, unless I make a video and you
Does
make a
this bother?
response to it.
Does this bother
It
you?
doesn't
Does this bother?
bother me. It's like I don't know. I just felt like the conversation wasn't as bad as it could be. But you know what? I feel like we're misunderstanding each other. It's 11:09 over here, so it's probably best if we just
11? What the fuck? It's 1 a.m. It's 1 a.m. over here. Oh, you Jesus Christ! Oh wow, I didn't realize there was that much time difference. Oh shit.
Yeah, but late is late, so I'll go ahead and let you go. But there, so let it be known that Sodium Overdrive is not a pussy, and he accepts debates. Okay, I came for the debate. I dare it, Luigi. I got you that debate, Luigi. I came home, Luigi. So we cool.
We're not uncool.
All right, that's good enough.
All right. Fair.
All right. Well, that was the debate. I'll go ahead and edit the audio, and that's it. All right. So that's the video.